ಎಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ. Welcome to the webinar session series conducted by Team UKSL. Today is the 10th webinar we are going to attend, and Team UKSL is thanks to Dr. Madhuri Madam for taking her time and going to conduct an important or interesting topic today. Okay, before we hand it over to her, I request trust member Srimati Ashwini Waliji to introduce Dr. Madhuri Madam to the audience here.
Namaskara, everyone. It is my great honor and privilege to introduce our esteemed guest speaker for today, Dr. Madhuri Hebbalkar. Dr. Madhuri Hebbalkar is a highly accomplished corporate trainer, mentor with vast experience in the field of education, leadership, communication, and human development. She holds impressive qualifications including MSc, MPhil, PhD, MBA, is also a certified trainer. She has served in academic field for more than 2 decades, working in various capacities. Served 14 years at MBA College Annapurna Institute of Management Research, Sankeshwar. She have rich experience of 5 years as faculty at MBA College ICFAI National College, Belgaum. Worked as faculty of mathematics at various polytechnics and science colleges for 6 years. She has also been associated with Karnataka State Rural Development and Panchayat Raj University as a board of examination member and guest faculty. Along with her academic excellence, Dr. Madhuri has made remarkable contribution in the corporate training sector. She has trained thousands of employees, supervisors, students, executives, and industrial workers across leading organizations such as Tata Motors, Bajaj Finserv, Dalmia, Bharat Sugars, T Connectivity, Acus Private Limited, Kalapi Engineers, Oro Tapes, and DANA Grazino Transmission India Private Limited. Her achievement and awards truly reflect her excellence and commitment. She has received Best Brand Builder Award by ICFAI National College, Hyderabad in 2006, first prize in Faculty Training Program at Chennai in 2008, top award for Communication and Workplace Skills Training by CIEL Pune in 2022, and Excellence Award from Bajaj Finserv for outstanding contribution in skill development in 2023. Madam's journey is truly inspiring, and we are extremely fortunate to have her with us today. On behalf of everyone present here, I extend a heartfelt welcome to you, ma'am. Thank you for taking your valuable time to guide us and inspire us. Thank you.
Thank you, Ashwinji. So, Madhuri Madam, is over to you now. Floor is open.
Thank you so much, first of all, UKSL entire group, Prakash sir, first to you, and then later all the members of this, because the topic also, it's like a pleasure to be there with our own group and, sharing the knowledge about whatever we have done in our journey. And this is a wonderful journey, what I had also, and it's an opportunity to share this. Thank you, Ashwini ma'am, for giving such a great mileage to me. I'm such a small person, but thank you so much, for at least introducing this. And I should appreciate Prakash sir, and especially when Arun is here, I should also say this, because the topic which you chose is something which is very close to my heart. And I just would like to give a few background for this, that why I tried to take up this, and you gave me this opportunity to talk on this topic, because I have extended it to our life processes, wherein many people here who have worked into corporates or many industries, they know what these human factors are. And in manufacturing area, especially in aviation, at the same time manufacturing sectors, this human factors has got a huge weightage. But then we never have realized maybe that human factors also play a very big role in our lives. And since then, as I said, I just would like to add to my profile because the major work which I did in this human factors is with the plants like Bhilai Steel Plant, United Phosphorus Limited, another 20,000 plus crores of big company, Pirimal Pharmaceuticals, Grasim, Ultratech, wherein all these industries they are having hazardous processes. And maybe I was instrumental in becoming a part of this human factors trainer, at the same time master trainer, and have maybe more than 7,000 employees might have covered under this. And it was like a kirtan, or you can call it as a satsang into the industries, wherein created also a lot of trainers on this. And then I started also realizing, because from aviation industry to all these hazardous industries, we just added this factor as one of the uh, part or a significant part of safety cultural transformation journey. It's a DuPont model, and this human factors was added to it. And then the journey of my understanding about this role of human factors in our lives also started growing. And I thought it's a very vast topic, though. I don't know how much I would be able to do the justice, but I just want to create an awareness about this role of human factors, because human factors is not the only one which is connected with the human life, but there are other aspects also. So I would like to take you through this entire presentation, wherein this awareness, if it is going to help us to improve our lifestyles and the relationships across, maybe by 20%, then my job is being done. And with that intention, I would like to take up this topic. No doubt there were few more topics which were shared with Prakash sir. ಆದ್ರೂ ಕೂಡ ಅವರು ಇದನ್ನ ಟಾಪಿಕ್ ಅನ್ನು ಸಜೆಸ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು. And thank you, ತುಂಬಾ ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ಸ್ ನಿಮಗೆ. ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ I feel you are the only people who can promote this across people. You can spread this awareness across the generations, because we are treating right from generation X, Y to we are going to alpha and say beta and all those kind of people, and we are stuck in between dealing with all the generations. I think this human factors awareness is very much important to improve our lifestyles as well. Coming down to this whole part, I just would like to 1 second. Yeah. I just would like to reflect on certain aspects to give introduction to this topic. I hope I'm audible.
Yeah, madam,
Yes,
you are
yes, ma'am.
audible.
Yes. I have a mentor who keeps saying this, that one should be striving for being Udyogamukhi, Jnanamukhi at the same time, Samajamukhi. And I think through all our journey, whether it's UKSL Trust or the companies where we work, or the enterprises which we are running, or the businesses which we are doing, I think we all are striving to do all these three things, through our education, having qualifications, or maybe working for social causes. Now, during this whole entire process of our life, we all do, we make mistakes. So my question to you is, do we make mistakes, including me? These questions, whenever I'm asking you, the questions are also for me. Do the mistakes, happen? Just, give a thought on this. Do we make mistakes, or do the mistakes happens? And my next question is, are the mistakes intentional? And the entire platform of today's topic is based on this, because the assumption, not only the assumptions, but the whole thing goes like mistakes are always unintentional. There are two things. If we do the mistakes, and I hope all of us are human beings here, nobody's alien, so everything is applicable to all of us as human beings. So when these mistakes happen, now there are two types of mistakes. One could be intentional mistake, which could be used as a strategy, but then most of the times mistakes are unintentional. Now, if you look at this particular thing, I would like to give you also, everybody is aware about Bhopal gas tragedy, which happened in 1984. And if you go through the investigation part as such, people call in the industry that it is, incident investigation. But if you ask me as a layman, I always call it as a post-mortem report. Because we all are interested into looking at the post-mortem reports rather than going for error prevention systems. And most of the times, if we go for a global excellence, those standards have been set in the industry. But what about our human lives? And if you look at these common mistakes also which we are doing, all those mistakes are unintentional, yet we think that those mistakes are being done intentionally. So it's about creating a culture at home or maybe around wherein we understand why these things are happening, what are the reasons behind it, and how this psychological state of mind plays a bigger role in our lives. So if you could see here, these are just charts which are for your references. But then the common mistakes which happens in our daily life could be like, somebody forgets to lock the door, somebody sends wrong text to the wrong person. Sometimes it's like an appointment has been missed. Sometimes it's like, left store on. And, considering this left store on, I would like to share one small incident. And, this has been shared by one of my participants in the industry. He said, ma'am, they were staying at one place, near his house. There's another person who was staying in a hut. And that lady was like, frying something, and she has kept the oil on the stove. ಅದು ಪುರಿ ಕರಿಬೇಕಂತ ಅವಳು ಆಯಿಲ್ ಇಟ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ಲಂತೆ. ಅದ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಹೊರಗಡೆ ಯಾರೋ ಸಾರಿ ಮಾರಿದವರು ಡೋರ್ ಸೇಲ್ಸ್ಮನ್ ಬರ್ತಾರಲ್ರಿ, ಅವ್ರು ಬಂದಿದ್ರು. ಬಂದ ತಕ್ಷಣ ಅವ್ರು ಏನ್ ಮಾಡಿದಾಳು, ಜೋರ್ ಗ್ಯಾಸ್ ಇಟ್ಟು ಅದು ಹೊರಗಡೆ ಹೋಗ್ಬಿಟ್ಟಿದಾಳೆ. ಆಕೆ ಲಕ್ಷ್ಯ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಸೊ ಆಕೆ ಮೈಂಡ್ ಡಿಸ್ಟ್ರಾಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗ್ಬಿಟ್ಟದ. ಅವಳು ಏನ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ಲು ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಅಲ್ಲೇ ಎನ್ಗ್ರಾಸ್ ಆಗ್ಬಿಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾಳೆ. ಇಲ್ಲೆಲ್ಲ ಆಯಿಲ್ ಸುಟ್ಟಿ ಎಲ್ಲ ಆಗಿ ಎಲ್ಲ ಹೊಗಿ ಬಂದು ಆ ಕढ़ಿಗೆಲ್ಲ ಹೊಗಿ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಬೆಂಕಿ ಹತ್ತಿ, ಐ ಥಿಂಕ್ ಇಟ್ಸ್ ಆಲ್ಮೋಸ್ಟ್ ಲೈಕ್ ಸಿಲಿಂಡರ್ ಬ್ಲಾಸ್ಟ್ ಆಗೋ ಅಂತ ಕಂಡೀಷನ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಆಜು ಬಾಜುಕಿನವ್ರು ನೋಡಿದ ತಕ್ಷಣ ಒಳಗಡೆ ಹೋಗೋದನ್ನೆಲ್ಲ ಕ್ಲೋಸ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಬಂದ್ರು. ಅವನು ಹೇಳ್ತಾನೆ, ಇನ್ ಕೇಸ್ ಸಪೋಸ್ ಅವನ ಆ ದಿವಸ ನೋಡ್ತಿದ್ದಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಅವಳ ಮನೆ ಅಂತೂ ಸುಟ್ಟು ಹೋಗ್ತಿದ್ಲು, ಪಕ್ಕದ ಮನೆಗೂ ಅದ್ ಸಿಕ್ಕಾಪಟ್ಟೆ ಬೆಂಕಿ ಹತ್ ಬಿಡ್ತಿತ್ತಂತೆ. So the question was, did she do these things intentionally? Anta. But then there was another factor which was, hidden behind, which is called as distraction. So let's talk about this. And that is what I would like to take all attention of yours to those things. And when these such things happens, what we say is, to err is human and we all make mistakes. True. We all make mistakes. But then, don't we blame people for making these mistakes? Just go back and just try to understand or maybe realize one incident wherein we might have misunderstood somebody, we might have shouted at somebody, we might have got angry, we might have blamed people for that. So many things might have happened. But yes, and that is what I said, the whole topic what we are talking is all about role of human factors. Yakantandre mistakes yaar ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಕೂಡ intentionally ಮಾಡಲ್ಲ. And that is the same thing which happened in Bhopal gas tragedy. Management to idella baki ella ide, but that is the only single man. He did not have awareness about what happens with the water leakage in that plant. ಅದು ಅವ್ನು ಗೊತ್ತಿರ್ತಿತ್ತಂದ್ರೆ ಆ ಲೀಕೇಜ್ ಅನ್ನ ಅವ್ನು ಕರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ದ. ಬಟ್ ಎಷ್ಟು ಜನರೇಷನ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನ ಆ ಮಿಸ್ಟೇಕ್ ಆಗೋದ್ರಿಂದ, ಅವನದು ಲ್ಯಾಕ್ ಆಫ್ ಅವೇರ್ನೆಸ್ ಇರೋದ್ರಿಂದ, ಪ್ರಾಸೆಸ್ ಇಲ್ದಿದ್ದಕ್ಕೆನ ಅವ್ನು ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಕ್ಕೆ ಒಂದು ಲೀಕೇಜ್ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ನಿಂದ ಇವತ್ತಿವರೆಗೂ the complete generations are facing the problems. Even their DNAs are got altered. ಮಕ್ಕಳು ಇವತ್ತಿನಕ್ಕೂ ಕೂಡ ಫಿಸಿಕಲಿ ಡಿಸೇಬಲ್ಡ್ ಹುಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಅಷ್ಟು ಜೀನ್ಸ್ ನಲ್ಲಿ ಮ್ಯೂಟೇಷನ್ಸ್ ಆಗ್ಬಿಟ್ಟಿದೆ. ಅಂಡ್ ದಟ್ ವಾಸ್ ಒನ್ ಸ್ಮಾಲ್ ಮಿಸ್ಟೇಕ್. ಅಂಡ್ ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಹೌ ದಿಸ್ ಹೋಲ್ ಥಿಂಗ್ ಹ್ಯಾಸ್ ಫೆಚ್ಡ್ ಟು ಮ್ಯಾನುಫ್ಯಾಕ್ಚರಿಂಗ್ ಸೆಕ್ಟರ್ಸ್. And this has become a very important topic into the industry. But then just relate these small things to our lives also. Now, if we look at things, because we generally say mistake happens and there are errors also. Now, error, it's a huge topic, so I'm just going to talk something in brief. If any questions you have, we can just have those question and answer sessions later on. Errors normally happens when there are standards which have been defined, and atra deviation bantandra we call it as error, whereas mistake is something which is a wrong action due to distraction, fatigue, and misjudgment. If you look at the cause, it's human factors. Mistake, cause for mistake is human factors. It's one part only. I'm going to show you the chart in the subsequent slides wherein you could say human factors is also one part of it. And in errors, it is like procedural flaw irbodu, illadra technical mistake irbodu. Human factors, il mistake ಏನು ಇರ್ತದ ಅಂದ್ರೆ unintentional ಇರ್ತದ. Errors normally because of the system ಇರ್ತದೆ. That's why it is called as systemic. In the industries, if you look at ಮ್ಯಾನುಫ್ಯಾಕ್ಚರಿಂಗ್ ಇಂಡಸ್ಟ್ರಿ ಇರಲಿ, ಏವಿಯೇಷನ್ ಇಂಡಸ್ಟ್ರಿ ಇರಲಿ, ಇವನ್ ಎರರ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನ ರೆಕ್ಟಿಫೈ ಮಾಡೋ ಸಲುವಾಗಿ ವಿ ಕಾಲ್ ದೇಮ್ ಆಸ್ ಲೈಕ್ ಜಾಪನೀಸ್ ಮೆಥಡ್ ವಿಚ್ ಇಸ್ ಪೋಕಾಯೋ. ಮೋಸ್ಟ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ಸಿಸ್ಟಮ್ ಲೈಕ್ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ಸ್ ಆರ್ ಬಿನ್ ಐಡೆಂಟಿಫೈಡ್. ಆ ಸಿಸ್ಟಮ್ನಿಂದ ಸಾಲ್ವ್ ಮಾಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ನಾವು ನೋಡ್ತೇವೆ. ಬಟ್ ಯಾವ ಸಿಸ್ಟಮ್ಲೆ ಸಾಲ್ವ್ ಆಗಲ್ಲ, ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಹ್ಯೂಮನ್ ಇಂಟರ್ವೆನ್ಷನ್ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಇರ್ತದ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾತ್ರ ನಮ್ಮ ಹ್ಯೂಮನ್ ಫ್ಯಾಕ್ಟರ್ಸ್ ನಾವು ಕಂಟ್ರೋಲ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕಾಗ್ತದ. ಅದಕ್ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಅವೇರ್ನೆಸ್ ಸ್ಪ್ರೆಡ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕಾಗ್ತದ. ನಮ್ಮ ಬ್ರೈನ್ ಇನ್ವಾಲ್ವ್ ಇರೋದ್ರಿಂದ, ನಮ್ಮ ಮೈಂಡ್ ಇನ್ವಾಲ್ವ್ ಇರೋದ್ರಿಂದ we have to keep on tapping on that and say that, these are the things which are there and they are playing on our mind. So I'm going to fetch your attention there as well. ಸೊ ಮಿಸ್ಟೇಕ್ ಅನ್ನ ನಾವು ಯಾವತ್ತು ಕೇರ್ಲೆಸ್ನೆಸ್ ಅಂತೀವಿ, ಬಟ್ ವೇರ್ ಎಸ್ ಎರರ್ಗೆ ಏನಂತೇವೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಫಾಲ್ಟ್ ಇನ್ ಪ್ರಾಸೆಸ್. ಸೊ ಇಫ್ ಯು ಲುಕ್ ಅಟ್ ದಿ ಮಿಸ್ಟೇಕ್ಸ್ ಆಸ್ ವಿ ಡಿಸ್ಕಸ್ ಇಸ್ ಫರ್ಗಾಟ್ ಕೀಸ್ ಆರ್ ಸೆಂಟ್ ರಾಂಗ್ ಇಮೇಲ್. ವೇರ್ ಆಸ್ ಎರರ್ಸ್ನಾಗ ಏನಿರ್ಬೋದು ಅಂದ್ರೆ ನಾವು ರಾಂಗ್ ಕ್ಯಾಲ್ಕುಲೇಷನ್ಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದಿರ್ಬೋದು, ನಮ್ಮ ಕಡೆ ಡೇಟಾ ಎಂಟ್ರಿ ಎರರ್ ಆಗಿರ್ಬೋದು, ನಾವು ರಾಂಗ್ ಡಾಕ್ಯುಮೆಂಟೇಶನ್ಸ್ ಪ್ರಾಸೆಸ್ ಮಾಡಿರ್ಬೋದು, ನಾವು SOPs ಅನ್ನು ವೈಲೇಷನ್ ಮಾಡಿದಿರ್ಬೋದು. ಎ ನಂಬರ್ ಆಫ್ ಥಿಂಗ್ಸ್ ವಿಚ್ ಕಮ್ಸ್ ವೇರ್ ಇನ್ ವಿ ಆರ್ ಜಸ್ಟ್ ವೈಲೇಟಿಂಗ್ ದ ರೂಲ್ಸ್ ಅಂತಾನು ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ಕರೆಕ್ಷನ್ಸ್ ನಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಿರ್ತದಂದ್ರೆ ಹ್ಯೂಮನ್ ಫ್ಯಾಕ್ಟರ್ಸ್ ಇಟ್ಸ್ ಓನ್ಲಿ ಅವೇರ್ನೆಸ್ and the kind of flexibility we really need to maintain. It could be adaptability also to some extent. Wherein in error management, what normally has been done, there are systemic procedures which have been followed and try to make the fixes, those are technical fixes or those are verification, wherein we put it into either softwares or maybe it's like a defined process will be given to the industries, and that is how those are called as technical fixes. Now, these things we cannot apply it at home because at home we all are having our informal relationships. There need not to be a formal relationship or a formal communication methods, and all these formal communication methods only happens into the industry in a professional environment. And that's a reason wherever it's possible, with a kind of love, with a lot of empathy, we all have to create this awareness and tell people, like simple example which I say normally when we say people, ಅರೆ ಹತ್ಬೇಕಾದ್ರ ನೀ ಸ್ಟೆಪ್ಸ್ ಮೇಲಿಂದ ನೀ ಏನಾದ್ರೂ ಹಿಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಹೋಗ್ಬೇಕಪ್ಪ. ಒಂದು ಜನರಲ್ ಅಂಡರ್ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡಿಂಗ್ ಏನಂದ್ರೆ, ಏನಮ್ಮ ನಾನು ಯಂಗ್ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ, ನೀನಷ್ಟು ಓಲ್ಡ್ ಆಗಿಲ್ಲ, ಅದ್ ಹಿಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಯಾಕೆ ಹೋಗ್ಬೇಕು ನಾನು? The kind of thought processes which come in, there are cultures which are there, there are belief systems which are there are limiting beliefs which also works, and that is why this awareness has got a lot of hurdles as well. But then I feel we should keep on trying and creating this awareness about the these human factors. And one more thing here comes as impact is like, mistakes here, if we talk about it, affects the trust and the communication. Because of this, lot of misunderstanding happens because we consider that mistakes are intentional. Here, error management, it has impact on the accuracy and the efficiency. So we are talking about human fallibility, whereas we are not talking here systems flaw. Yakandre errors naga routine, normal errors ಬರ್ತದ, violations ಬರ್ತದ, skill based ಬರ್ತಾವು, decision based errors ಬರ್ತಾವು, perception based errors ಬರ್ತಾವು, and all those things we will not talk about. We will just restrict ourselves only creating awareness about our day-to-day life. So what these human factors are, and we are looking at these human factors as a psychological state antande, but it is more like, these are the factors that influence people's behavior, and it is state of mind that influence people to cause errors and mistakes. We call them as, nanantu helodantandre, they are like our dushmans, they are like our enemies. But usko humko dushman nahi bolna hai, to usko dost bana ke rakhna hai, उसको अपने साथ लेके जाना है. लेकिन इन ह्यूमन फैक्टर्स के साथ हम दुश्मनी नहीं ले सकते, उनको दोस्त बना के रखेंगे, लेकिन उनको हमसे ज्यादा इन्फ्लुएंशियल हम कभी नहीं करेंगे. और ನಮ್ಮ ಮೇಲೆ ಹಾವಿ ಆಗಕ್ಕೆ ನಾವು ಒಟ್ಟು ಬಿಡಬಾರ್ದು, ಅವ್ರು ಬಹಳಷ್ಟು ಇನ್ಫ್ಲೂಯೆನ್ಷಿಯಲ್ ನಮ್ಮ ಮೇಲೆ ಆಗಬಾರ್ದು. ಅಂಡ್ ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ವಾಟ್ this awareness about human factors plays a role. If you look at this particular chart, I just want to grab your attention that where these human factors influence the mistakes. If you could look at only few examples which have been put here, it's like these human factors, they reduce the focus and the awareness, they distort the judgments under pressure. Because of stress, we will not be in a normal state to respond to the situations. Lack of communication and lack of teamwork has got lot of impact everywhere. If you at home also, if there is no teamwork, there is no consensus, we could see a lot of conflicting situations which keep coming, and ನನಗನ್ನಿಸ್ತದೆ ಅದೇ misunderstanding ಗೆ ಮೇಜರ್ ರೀಸನ್ ಆಗೋದು. ಸೊ ಕಾನ್ಫಿಡೆನ್ಸ್ ಕಡಿಮೆ ಇರ್ತದ, ನನ್ನ ಕಡೆ ಎಲ್ಲ ಇದ್ರೂ ಕೂಡ ನನ್ನ ಕಡೆ ಮಾತಾಡೋ ಅಷ್ಟು ಕೆಪಾಸಿಟಿ ಇರಲ್ಲ, ಅಸರ್ಟಿವ್ನೆಸ್ ಇರಲ್ಲ. ಐ ವಿಲ್ ಹೈಲೈಟ್ ದಿಸ್ ಡ್ಯೂರಿಂಗ್ ಒನ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ಕೇಸ್ ಸ್ಟಡಿ ವಿಚ್ ಐ ಆಮ್ ಗೋಯಿಂಗ್ ಟು ಟೇಕ್. ಸೊ to err is human because human factors are always at play. Now let's look at this. See, aviation industry, it started with medicine field. ಮೆಡಿಕಲ್ ಫೀಲ್ಡ್ ನಲ್ಲಿ ಅಂತೂ ಇದು ಕಂಪಲ್ಸರಿ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ದೇ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಫೌಂಡ್ ಹೌ ಟು ಮಿಟಿಗೇಟ್ ದಿಸ್ ಹ್ಯೂಮನ್ ಫ್ಯಾಕ್ಟರ್ಸ್. ಇದಕ್ಕೆ ನಾವು ಹೆಂಗ್ ಅವೇರ್ನೆಸ್ ಕ್ರಿಯೇಟ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು, ಹೆಂಗ್ ಇದಕ್ಕೆ ನಾವು ಟ್ಯಾಕಲ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು, ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ವೇಸ್ ಏನ್ ಬರ್ತದ, ಅದೆಲ್ಲ ಅವರು ಐಡೆಂಟಿಫೈ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ. Then came aviation industry, and aviation industry have done lot of research on this, and they identified 12 ಫ್ಯಾಕ್ಟರ್ಸ್. ಇವನ್ನೆಲ್ಲ 12 ಫ್ಯಾಕ್ಟರ್ಸ್ ನಾ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಹಾಕಿದ್ದೀನಿ. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಅವರು ಒಂದು ಹೆಸರು ಕೊಟ್ಟರು, ಅದಕ್ಕಂತಾರ ದ ಡರ್ಟಿ ಡಜನ್. ಅದ್ರಾಗ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಬರುತ್ತೆ ಲ್ಯಾಕ್ ಆಫ್ ಕಮ್ಯುನಿಕೇಶನ್, ಕಾಂಪ್ಲಸೆನ್ಸಿ, ಲ್ಯಾಕ್ ಆಫ್ ನಾಲೆಜ್, ಡಿಸ್ಟ್ರಾಕ್ಷನ್, ಲ್ಯಾಕ್ ಆಫ್ ಟೀಮ್ ವರ್ಕ್ ಇದೆ, ಲ್ಯಾಕ್ ಆಫ್ ಟ್ರೈನಿಂಗ್ ಇದೆ, ಫಟಿಗ್ ಇದೆ, ಸ್ಟ್ರೆಸ್ ಇದೆ, ಲ್ಯಾಕ್ ಆಫ್ ಅವೇರ್ನೆಸ್ ಇದೆ, ನಾರ್ಮ್ಸ್ ಇದೆ, ಲ್ಯಾಕ್ ಆಫ್ ರಿಸೋರ್ಸಸ್, ಲ್ಯಾಕ್ ಆಫ್ ಅಸರ್ಟಿವ್ನೆಸ್, ಈವನ್ ಸ್ಟ್ರೆಸ್ ಕೂಡ. Hurry becomes also one part of that distraction, which I'll come to. So, ಇವನ್ನೆಲ್ಲ human factors ನೀವು ನೋಡಿದ್ರೆ, just have a glance on this particular diagram, wherein your entire brain and the mind which comes into picture. And we are just going to focus on only two parts here today, which is human limitations, because there is huge part which is played by human capabilities, human factors. There is mental state, emotional state, physical state, environmental conditions, because all these things are playing when it comes down to human and machine interface. But then predominantly these human factors play a bigger role. At the same time, why we should call mistakes as unintentional is, when you understand human capabilities and human limitations. ಅದರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಎಷ್ಟೋ ಸಲ ನಮಗೆ ಅವೇರ್ನೆಸ್ ಇರಲ್ಲ. ಅಂಡ್ ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ವೈ ವಿ ಆಲ್ವೇಸ್ ಕಾಲ್ ಪೀಪಲ್, ನೀ ಪರ್ಪಸ್ಲಿ ಮಾಡಿದಿ, ನೀ ಇಂಟೆನ್ಷನಲಿ ಇದು ಮಾಡಿದಿ, ನೀ ಅದು ಫೋರ್ಸ್ಫುಲಿ ಮಾಡಿದಿ, ನೀನು ಇಂಥ ತಪ್ಪು ಹೆಂಗೆ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು ನೀನು, ಇವೆಲ್ಲ ಡೈಲಾಗ್ಸ್ ನಮ್ಗೆ ಬರುತ್ತಲ್ಲ. ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಆಲ್ ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ವಿ ಸಮ್ಟೈಮ್ಸ್ ಡೂ ನಾಟ್ ಅಂಡರ್ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ಅವರ್ ಕೆಪಾಬಿಲಿಟೀಸ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಅವರ್ ಲಿಮಿಟೇಷನ್ಸ್. So these are all 12 factors which are having impact on your performance. Yes, sorry. If you go back to the story, and I think most of the people, we are all influenced by Titanic. Nanu aniste ellaru Titanic movie nodirboದಲ್ಲ. Even in histories, you could see these mistakes were not random. They were shaped by human factors. So I've just taken one small example of Titanic ship. The ship ಯಾವಾಗ ರೆಡಿ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು, this was one of the you can say commercial project which was taken up. And ನಾರ್ಮಲಿ ಆ ಸೀನ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನನ್ಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ ಎಷ್ಟು ಜನ ಇದು ಮೂವಿ ನೋಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ಬಟ್ ಜನಕ್ಕೆ ಏನ್ ಅನಿಸ್ತಿತ್ತಂದ್ರೆ ಇದು ಐಸ್ಬರ್ಗ್ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಟೈಮ್ ಕಂಡು ಬಂದಿದೆ ಏನು ಅಂತ. ಸೊ ಟೈಟಾನಿಕ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾವಾಗ ಸಿಂಕ್ ಆಯ್ತು, ಅವಾಗ ಜನಕ್ಕೆ ಏನ್ ಅನಿಸ್ತಂದ್ರೆ ನನ್ಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ, ನಾನು ಹಂಗೆ ತಿಳ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದೆ ಇವ್ರಿಗೆ ಹೆಂಗ್ ಐಸ್ಬರ್ಗ್ ಕಾಣಿಸ್ಲಿಲ್ಲ. ಬಟ್ ನಾರ್ಮಲಿ ಆ ರೂಟ್ ಏನಿದೆ ಅಲ್ರಿ, ಯಾವತ್ತು ಎಲ್ಲಿಂದನೂ ಐಸ್ಬರ್ಗ್ ಬರ್ಬೋದಂತೆ. It is a very common process there, or a common thing, that lot of icebergs will be developed there, and normal our travel naga idde irtadante. So when Titanic was made, it was also made by considering that this is going to be the most safest and unsinkable ship anta. So 5 layers of safety atrag hakidru. Ee 5 layers of safety atrag hakidru kuda ಅದು ಯಾಕಪ್ಪ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಟೈಮ್ ಫೇಲ್ ಆತು, ಮತ್ತು 1500 ಲೈವ್ಸ್ ಹೋಗಿದಾವೆ. ಇದು ನಮ್ಮ ನಂಬರು, ಬಟ್ ನಂಬರ್ ಅದಕ್ಕಿಂತ ದೊಡ್ಡದಿದೆ. ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ ಅನ್ರೆಜಿಸ್ಟರ್ಡ್ ಕಸ್ಟಮರ್ಸ್, ಆರ್ ಮೇ ಬಿ ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಸೇ ವಿದೌಟ್ ಟಿಕೆಟ್ ಟ್ರಾವೆಲ್ ಮಾಡೋರು ಅದ್ರ ಮೇಲೆ ಬಹಳ ಜನ ಇದ್ರು. ಸೊ ದ ನಂಬರ್ ಇಸ್ ಲೈಕ್ ಆಸ್ ಪರ್ ಪೀಪಲ್ ದೇ ಕೀಪ್ ಆನ್ ಟೆಲಿಂಗ್, ಬಟ್ ಆರ್ ಫೋಕಸ್ ಇಸ್ ನಾಟ್ ಆನ್ ಹೌ ಮೆನಿ ಪೀಪಲ್ ಆರ್ ಡೆಡ್. ಬಟ್ ದೆನ್ ಲೆಟ್ಸ್ ಲುಕ್ at few things which we could see, and how these human factors have played a bigger role ಅಂತ. ಸೊ ಒಂದು part and one ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ put up ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೀನಿ. Some people can read this and also keep track of this. When we talk about complacency, one complacency ಕಂಡು ಬರೋದಂತಂದ್ರೆ captain. Do you know this captain was very, very expert, and it was his last year. Yes, sir. Anything wrong?
No, madam. You can continue. I think
Okay.
I jumped.
So this particular captain was supposed to be one of the experts, but on last year of retirement, last year he was getting retired on that year, and on his mind there was only one thing. ನಾ ರಿಟೈರ್ ಆಗೋಕ್ಕಿಂತ ಮುಂಚೆ ಏನಾದ್ರೂ ಇಂಥದ್ ಮಾಡಿ ತೋರಿಸ್ಬೇಕು, ಜಗತ್ ನನಗ ನೆನಪಿಟ್ಕೊಳ್ಬೇಕು. And there was another pressure on him. See, two factors are here. That is stress and pressure. Stress comes within and pressure is from outside. So here, ಅವ್ರ ಮೇಲೆ ಪ್ರೆಷರ್ ಕೂಡ ಇತ್ತು. 7 days ನಲ್ಲಿ ಅದು US ಟ್ರಿಪ್ ಅನ್ನು ಕಂಪ್ಲೀಟ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅಂತ. ಸೊ ಅವ್ರ ಸ್ಪೀಡ್ ಓವರ್ ಸ್ಪೀಡಿಂಗ್ ಇತ್ತು. ಆ ಓವರ್ ಸ್ಪೀಡಿಂಗ್ ಅವ್ರ ಬಾಕಿ ಕ್ಯಾಪ್ಟನ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನು ಹೇಳಿದ್ರು ಕೂಡ ಮೇನ್ ಕ್ಯಾಪ್ಟನ್ ವಾಸ್ ನಾಟ್ ರೆಡಿ ಟು ಲಿಸನ್ ಟು reduce the speed, because this was one factor which was on his mind, saying that yes, I want to make some record and I could do this because number of years I've done this journey. And that's how, this complacency, one, the ship is very unsinkable because we have built 5 layers of security there, and that is why the safety protection is there. Nothing will happen to this ship anta. Then coming down to pressure, as I said, lack of communication is something which, I will just summarize this. I will not go point by point. Those points are for you. Lack of resources ಅಂದಾಗ ಲೈಫ್ ಪೋರ್ಟ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನು ಕಡಿಮೆ ಹಾಕಿದ್ರು. ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಓವರ್ ಕಾನ್ಫಿಡೆನ್ಸ್ ಏನಿತ್ತು ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ, ಹೊಸ ಶಿಪ್ ಇದೆ, ನಾವ್ ಇಷ್ಟೆಲ್ಲ ಸೆಕ್ಯೂರಿಟಿ ಹಾಕಿದಾಗ ಇದಕ್ಕೇನು ಆಗಲ್ಲ, ವಿ ಡೋಂಟ್ ನೀಡ್ ದೀಸ್ ರಿಸೋರ್ಸಸ್ ಅಂತ. ಪ್ಲಸ್ ದೇರ್ ವಾಸ್ ಒನ್ ಕಮರ್ಷಿಯಲ್ ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್, ಆ ಲೈಫ್ ಪೋರ್ಟ್ ಅನ್ನು ಇಡೋ ಸ್ಪೇಸ್ ಕೂಡ ನಾವು ಕಮರ್ಷಿಯಲ್ ಪರ್ಪಸ್ಗೆ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡೋಣ ಅಂತ. ಇಫ್ ಯು notice, there were 6 times signals given by some of the Russian ships which were moving through that route. And these 6 times signals, when they were given, these signals were ignored by these people because all the people were distracted towards some of the services which were given to the affluent people. And that was one reason wherein all these signals were ignored. Now another thing which happened here, which was surprising again, we talk about the places, and these binoculars, where they were supposed to be, those binoculars were not found when they wanted to check it. By the time they could get these binoculars, what happened is, the time was like, the iceberg, the ship had hit the iceberg and almost, it had cracked the 3 layers of the ship. Now Titanic is a mystery till today. A lot of people still go for investigations. Still investigation is happening. People have their own assumptions and they would like to try to this. But when I was doing this case study, I was talking and having discussions with people, I always realized, why not take some takeaways from this? ಇದ್ರಾಗಿಂದ ನಮ್ಗೆ ಏನ್ ಕಲ್ಕೊಳಿಕ್ ಬರ್ತದ? ಏನ್ ಆಗಿದೆ, ಏನ್ ಆಗೋಯ್ತು, ಅದ್ ಆಗ್ಬಾರ್ದಾಗಿತ್ತು ಅನ್ನೋಕ್ಕಿಂತ ನಮ್ಗೆ ಇದ್ರಾಗಿಂದ ಏನ್ ಟೇಕ್ ಅವೇಸ್ ಇರ್ತದ, ನಾವ್ ಇದ್ರಾಗಿಂದ ಏನ್ ಕಲ್ಕೊಳ್ಬಹುದು, ಮತ್ ಯಾವ ಪ್ಲೇಸಿಗೆ ಯಾಕೆ ಹಿಂಗ ಆಗಿರ್ಬೋದು ಅಂತ ನಾವು ಒಂದು ವಿಚಾರ ಮಾಡೋಣ ಅಂತ ಇದನ್ನ ನಾನು ಕೇಸ್ ಸ್ಟಡಿ ತಗೊಂಡಿದ್ದೆ. Then second thing, another thing which I could realize it, one of the reviews when I saw on this case study, ಒಬ್ಬ engineer ಅಂತಾನು, I was a part of the design team, yet I was junior among all the people. And I was realizing that there is some flaws into it, but I was not assertive enough to talk about it because I felt people may not consider my suggestions. And there, when we talk about communication, this assertiveness plays a bigger role. He says, if I would have opened my mouth on that day, I think I would have been instrumental in seeing that, this incident wouldn't have happened. So regret antu ide, that's okay. But then knowledge idra kuda open communication openly accept ಮಾಡಂಗಿಲ್ಲ, and that's a reason people are hesitant even to share their ideas. And this is a big challenge today in the industry also, because the open communication, the transparency, what we are trying to bring in, there are a lot of hurdles into it. And that's why, lot of communication channels and barriers are also been created among, the entire teams. And then I felt, and one small thing in developing this entire ship, ಒಂದು ಸ್ಟೀಲ್ ರಿಬಟ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನು ಹಾಕಿ ಅದನ್ನು ಕೂಡ ಕಾಸ್ಟ್ ಐರನ್, ಸ್ಟೀಲ್ ಜಗತ್ತಿಗೆ ಕಾಸ್ಟ್ ಐರನ್ ಹಾಕೋದ್ರಿಂದ ಕೂಡ ಆ ಸೇಫ್ಟಿ ಲೇಯರ್ ಅನ್ನ ಬ್ರೇಕ್ ಮಾಡಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಆ ಐಸ್ಬರ್ಗ್ ಈಸಿ ಆಯಿತು. ಸೊ ಆಲ್ ದೀಸ್ ಥಿಂಗ್ಸ್, those were overlooked, or maybe, that was a overconfidence which has led to this Titanic to become one of the big incident, or maybe a historical incident, by losing many lives. And that is what I felt, this particular thing which is commonly known, let's share this. Then, if you look at this, I just want to take your attention to a different part, which I call it as, human limitations or capabilities. Can you call the colors? Somebody? maybe one or two. I want you to say these colors.
ರೆಡ್ ಬ್ಲೂ ಎಲ್ಲೋ ಫೋರ್ತ್ ಕಾಣಿಸ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ ಮೇಡಮ್.
ಕಾಣಿಸ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ? ಓಕೆ,
ಫೋರ್ತ್ ಒನ್
ಫಿಫ್ತ್ ಹೇಳ್ರಿ ಅರುಣ್ ಅವ್ರೆ, ಫಿಫ್ತ್ ಹೇಳ್ರಿ, ತೊಂದ್ರೆ ಇಲ್ಲ.
ಚಸ್ಮಾಕು ಚಸ್ಮಾಕರು
ಬ್ಲೂ ಯೆಲ್ಲೋ ರೆಡ್ ಯೆಲ್ಲೋ ಗ್ರೀನ್ ವಾಟ್ ಎವರ್ ಇಸ್ ದೇರ್ ಇನ್ ಯೆಲ್ಲೋ ನಾಟ್ ಸೊ ವಿಸಿಬಲ್ ಬಟ್ ರೆಡ್ ಬ್ಲೂ ಗ್ರೀನ್ ರೆಡ್ ಅಗೇನ್ ಮಿಸ್ಸಿಂಗ್ ಯೆಲ್ಲೋ ರೆಡ್ ಬ್ಲೂ. ಎಸ್ ಮೇಡಮ್, ಒಂದು ಸೀಕ್ವೆನ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇದೆ.
Okay. Now,
Can I, madam?
yes,
Can I try?
please.
Orange, red, green, yellow,
Yes.
orange, green, yellow, orange, red, green,
Yes.
again green.
Very nice. Absolutely. Ashwini ma'am. I think it's Ashwini ma'am, right? Very nice. I mean,
the colors are not in the same color. What is mentioned?
Yeah.
yes.
Yes, madam.
That's a trick.
Now, should I say that Arun doesn't know, how to interpret this? Can I say that?
No.
Are you getting me here? This is one test I put it. I wanted to put some videos here to make you count, but then time limitation was there. So I said, let me use it in trainings, not here. So if you look at this is something which is, we call it as perceptions also. Okay. So let's look at another figure, picture here. Now, what do you see here? Meantime, I'll just have one sip of water. What do you see here in the picture? ಏನ್ ಕಾಣಿಸ್ತಿದೆ? At one glance when you see.
Some monument.
ವರ್ಡ್ ಸ್ಟ್ರಕ್ಚರ್ ನ.
Okay.
Seashore
ಮತ್ತೇನಿದೆ?
ಹತ್ರ ಏನಿದೆ?
ಏನಿದೆ ರೀ?
Seashore.
Okay, very nice. ಮತ್ತೆ?
I
Sky
think,
ಇದೆ ರೀ.
Clouds.
Globe.
a boat like thing is there.
There is
Okay.
one tree is there. There is a
Okay.
tree.
Okay. ಮತ್ತೇನಿದೆ?
People also.
ಮತ್ತೇನಿದೆ?
Clouds
Globe.
ಇದಾವ್ರಿ.
Globe I told you.
Okay. ಅಲ್ಲ, ಕೆಲವೊಬ್ರು ಜನನೂ ಕಾಣಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದಾರಲ್ಲ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ?
No, madam.
Oh, just look at that.
Yes, to the left.
ಲೇಕ್
Yes.
ಪಕ್ಕ ಗಾರ್ಡನ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಮಧ್ಯ ಒಂದು ಸಿಮೆಂಟ್ ಇದಿದೆ, ಅಲ್ಲಿ there is some mesh globe ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ.
Yes, very nice, very nice. Something which is very obvious, but something which is not very obvious. I have to drag your attention to that. That I said there are some people also whom you could see. I want to show you one. Yeah.
Left side there is a person, madam. For right side
Yes.
picture it is not there.
Yes, exactly right. ನಾರ್ಮಲಿ ಈ ತರ ಟೆಸ್ಟ್ ನಾವು ಮಕ್ಕಳ ಜೊತೆ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. ಏನಪ್ಪಾ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಸಿ ದ ಡಿಫರೆನ್ಸಸ್ ಅಂತ. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ನಾನು ಒಂದು ಏನಂತಾರಲ್ಲ, ಅದು ಆಬ್ಜೆಕ್ಟಿವ್ ಮ್ಯಾಚ್ ಮಾಡೋ ಸಲುವಾಗಿ ತಗೊಂಡಿದ್ದೀನಿ. ಅಂಡ್ ದೆನ್ ಲುಕ್ ಅಟ್ ದಿಸ್ ಪಿಕ್ಚರ್. ವಾಟ್ ಯು ಸಿ?
ಟ್ರೀ ಇದೆ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು ಹಿಂದ್ಗಡೆ.
Man looking from inside the window outside ನೋಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾನೆ ಅವನ ಮನೆಯಿಂದ ಅಥವಾ
ನಿಜ. ಮತ್ತೇನಿದೆ?
ಅಲ್ಲೊಂದು ಬಿಲ್ಡಿಂಗ್ ಐತ್ರಿ ಬ್ಯಾಕ್ಗ್ರೌಂಡ್.
ಓಕೆ.
ಅಲ್ಲ, ಟ್ರೀ ಇದೆ ಅಲ್ಲೊಂದು ಟ್ರೀ.
ಓಕೆ, ಮತ್ತೆ?
clouds.
Very nice.
Maybe there is little fog on the glass, I believe.
That is there.
I think there is an eagle as well.
Exactly right, Prakash sir. Exactly right. But this eagle you could see. There are other people who could see this man. Okay. Now, here your attention has to go to human limitations. Now, this has got something with brain. We call it as inattentive blindness. And most of the time, what happens is, ನಾರ್ಮಲಿ ನೀವು ಮನೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಇದಾಗಿರ್ಬೋದು ಎಲ್ಲರ ಜೊತೆಗೆ, ಮುಂದೆ ಕೀ ಬಿದ್ದಿರ್ತದ, ವಾಲೆಟ್ ಇರ್ತದ, ಬಟ್ ಆದ್ರೂ ನಾವು ಜೋರಾಗಿ ಕೂಗಾಡ್ತೀವಿ, ಕೇಳ್ತೀವಿ, ಏನಪ್ಪಾ ನನ್ ವಾಲೆಟ್ ಕಾಣಿಸ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ, ನನ್ ಕೀ ಕಾಣಿಸ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ, ನನ್ ಚಶ್ಮಾ ಕಾಣಿಸ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಯಾರಾದ್ರೂ ಹಿಂದ್ಗಡೆ ಮನೆಯಿಂದ ಬರ್ತಾರೆ, ಅವ್ರಂತಾರೆ ಇಲ್ಲೇ ಇದೆ ಅಲ್ರಿ, ಕಾಣಿಸ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಅಂತ. ಆಗಿದೆ. Sometimes something is lying besides to us, but then it is not visible to us.
Many times, madam.
Yes, quite common.
Yeah, quite common. But then ಇಷ್ಟು ಕಾಣಿಸಲ್ಲ ಏನ್ರಿ ನಿಮ್ಗಂತ ಅಂದಿಲ್ಲ ಅರುಣ್ ಅವ್ರೆ ಮನ್ಯಾಗ? ಇಲ್ಲೇ ಬಿದ್ದದಲ್ರಿ, ಇಲ್ಲೇ ಇದೆ ಅಲ್ರಿ, ಇಲ್ಲೇ ಇಟ್ಟಿದ್ದೀನಿ, ಕಾಣಿಸ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ. And that is how, yes?
No, that's true, madam.
So now here what happens, I'll tell you. This is something ad nim kanmundide, but that doesn't get registered in your mind. And that is why it is called as inattentive blindness. Okay. So we talk about something called as perception, and then something which is like human limitations are there and which we are not aware of. And that is why we blame people saying that ad kanastha illa ninge, neen laksha irallappa. ನೀ ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ ನಿನಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿರಂಗಿಲ್ಲ, ಇಲ್ಲೇ ಇರ್ತದಾದ್ರೂ ನಿನ್ ಕಂಡು ಬರಲ್ಲ. ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಹೌ ಮೋಸ್ಟ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ಟೈಮ್ಸ್. ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ ನಿಮಗೇನು ಕಾಣಿಸ್ತದೆ ಅದು ನನಗೆ ಕಾಣಿಸಲ್ಲ, ನನಗೇನು ಕಾಣಿಸ್ತದೆ ಇನ್ನೊಬ್ರಿಗೆ ಕಾಣಿಸಲ್ಲ. ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಮೋಸ್ಟ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ಟೈಮ್ ಇನ್ ದ ಇಂಡಸ್ಟ್ರಿ ವಿ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಸೀನ್ ದಿಸ್. ದ ಸೇಮ್ ಥಿಂಗ್ ಅಪ್ಲೈಸ್ ಅಟ್ ಹೋಮ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ. ಸೇಮ್ ಥಿಂಗ್ ಅಪ್ಲೈಸ್ ಇನ್ ದ ರೋಡ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ. ನಾನು ಮುಂದೆ ಬರೋವ ಕಾಣಿಸ್ತಾ ಇರ್ತಾನ್ರಿ, ನಿಮ್ಗದು ಬಹುಶಃ ಕಾಣಿಸಂಗಿಲ್ಲ. ಇಲ್ಲದ್ರ ಕೆಲವೊಬ್ರಿಗೆ ಹ್ಯಾಬಿಟ್ ಇರ್ತದ, ಪೆರಿಫಿರಲ್ ಫೋಕಸ್ ಭಾಳ ದೊಡ್ಡದಿರ್ತದ, ಅವ್ರದ್ದು ವಿಷನ್ ವೈಡರ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡಿರ್ತಾರೆ. ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ 1 ಕಿಲೋಮೀಟರ್ದಿಂದ ಇದ್ದಿದ್ದನ್ನು ಕಾಣಿಸ್ತದ, ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಬರೀ ಒಂದು 30 ಫೂಟ್ನಾಗ ಎಷ್ಟಿದೆ ಅದು ಅಷ್ಟ ಕಾಣಿಸ್ಬೋದು. ಸೊ ಮೋಸ್ಟ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ಟೈಮ್ಸ್ ದಿಸ್ ಈಸ್ ಒನ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ಹ್ಯೂಮನ್ ಲಿಮಿಟೇಷನ್ ವಿಚ್ ವಿ ಕಾಲ್ ಇಟ್ ಆಸ್ ಇನ್ಅಟೆಂಟಿವ್ ಬ್ಲೈಂಡ್ನೆಸ್. ಸೊ ನಮ್ ಒಂದೇ ಒಂದು ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ, ನಮ್ಮ ಸುತ್ತಮುತ್ತಲು ಇದ್ದವ್ರಿಗೆ ಇಂಥದ್ದು ಏನ್ರಿ ಆದ್ರೆ ಕಾಣಿಸ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಬ್ಲೇಮ್ ಮಾಡೋಕ್ಕಿಂತ, ಆಯ್ತು ಸರಿ ನಾ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಹೋಗಿದ್ದೆ, ಆ ಥರ ಒಂದು ಇದೆಯಪ್ಪ, ನೀ ಹೋಗ್ತಾ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಸಂಭಾಳಿಸಿ ಹೋಗು, ಇಲ್ಲಾದ್ರೆ ನೀ ಕೇರ್ಫುಲ್ ಆಗಿ ಹೋಗು, ಇದು ಹಿಂಗಿದೆ. ನಾವು ಭಾಳ ಸಲ ಟ್ರಾವೆಲ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ, ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಾದರೂ ಡೈವರ್ಷನ್ ಇರ್ಬೋದು. ಆ ಡೈವರ್ಷನ್ ಈಗ ಹೊಸಾದ್ ಬಂದಿದೆ, ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ ಎವ್ರಿವೇರ್ ಇಫ್ ಯು ಸಿ ಟುಡೇ, ಮೇ ಬಿ ಅನದರ್ 10 years ವಿ ಆರ್ ಗೋಯಿಂಗ್ ಟು ಸಿ ಇನ್ಫ್ರಾಸ್ಟ್ರಕ್ಚರ್ ಡೆವಲಪ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಓನ್ಲಿ. ಯಾವಾಗ ಯಾವ ಜಾಗದಾಗ ಯಾವ ಕನ್ಸ್ಟ್ರಕ್ಷನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದಾರೆ, ಎಲ್ಲೇ ಡಿಗ್ ಮಾಡಿರ್ತಾರೆ, ಯಾವ ಪೈಪ್ಲೈನ್ ವರ್ಕ್ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿರ್ತಾರೆ, ಎಲ್ಲೇ ಡೈವರ್ಷನ್ ಹಾಕಿರ್ತಾರೆ, ಅದು ನಿಮ್ಮ ನಾರ್ಮಲ್ ರೋಡ್ ಇದ್ರೂ ಕೂಡ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಅದು ಗೊತ್ತಾಗಲ್ಲ. ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ದಟ್ಸ್ ಅ ರೀಸನ್. ಅದು ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಇದೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ, ಅವೇರ್ನೆಸ್ ಕ್ರಿಯೇಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ, ವಿ ಆರ್ ಜಸ್ಟ್ bringing focus on, maybe we are trying to remove the bias because of this attentive blindness ಅಂತೇವಲ್ಲ, ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಒಂದು ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಕಾಂಕರ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು, ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಇಸ್ ಅ ನಾರ್ಮಲ್ ಪ್ರಾಸೆಸ್. ಇದಕ್ಕೆ ಒಂದೇ ಒಂದು ಸೊಲ್ಯೂಷನ್ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಅಬ್ಸರ್ವೇಷನ್ ಸ್ಕಿಲ್ಸ್ನ ನೀವು ಡೆವಲಪ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಅಬ್ಸರ್ವೇಷನ್ ಸ್ಕಿಲ್ಸ್ ಇಸ್ ಸಚ್ ದಟ್ ಎವ್ರಿಬಡಿ ಹ್ಯಾಸ್ ಟು ಡೆವಲಪ್ ಇಟ್. It cannot be like given as a gift. It cannot be people, we give trainings also on that, like how to enhance these observation skills. But then rather than, I feel always that through your effort only you should be doing this, and that is how you can always reduce these kind of mistakes which happen into your day-to-day life. Okay, now why we should understand these human factors. I will just read the titles. It's well explanatory or self-explanatory, we can say. Most of the times when mistakes happen, generally we have seen, we have always blamed people. And I feel our blame should, the whole motto of developing human factors itself is, we in industry we call it as just culture and ಮಾಡೋದು, ಓಪನ್ ಕಮ್ಯುನಿಕೇಶನ್ ಅನ್ನು ನಾವು ಡೆವಲಪ್ ಮಾಡೋದು, ಅಟ್ ದ ಸೇಮ್ ಟೈಮ್ ನೋ ಬ್ಲೇಮ್ ಗೇಮ್. So it's like, no blame, but rather than we work on some prevention. So our shift goes from blame to empathy. Look at now small incidents which might have happened at home, and you might be considering it as a carelessness, because few examples I'm going to show you wherein you might have treated it as carelessness, but actually it is not carelessness, but it is something which is human factor, which is playing a role behind it. So it will reduce the conflicts at home. You will have better relationships, because you will start understanding that person and how the person works. It will strengthen the relationships, because you will develop also the patience. And then I have just given some examples here. Somebody colleague, if miss some details, then you might not shout, because all people are working at leadership levels, and normally it happens that in detail miss agidakku kuda we just shout at that person, but then do we see that he might be overburdened or maybe pressurized or having a lot of stress due to some other reasons as well. Now another thing which comes here, it will help you to improve your communication. Rather than saying you are careless, we can always say, looks like you are under pressure, let's adjust that workload. It also enhances your performance, because human factors, if you identify what is the reason, and then if it is so, then you can always design your systems, because you understand, because of certain things there is a stress which has been built, certain things there is a pressure which is building. Since we have not given trainings, the awareness is also very less. You will be able to understand the reasons behind this, and you will try to also understand the human factors. And that is how you can put certain mistakes into systems, because the systems will not allow you to make mistakes. Remaining few part, maybe in percentages, which will you need to tackle with these human factors. So it prevents also the escalations, because most of the times the misunderstandings always damage your relationships, and understanding human factors prevents conflicts from growing out of misinterpretation as well. As I showed you the perception images also, so here certain things also goes by perception, because everybody has got wider, different exposures, different experiences. Their belief systems are different. Their cultures at home and outside are different. And through those things, there are certain personalities which have been grown. If we don't understand them, then there is always, interpersonal skills which will have, damaging part, and that those interpersonal skills will be at stake. Now, if we look at this
ಮೇಡಮ್ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ನಿಮ್ದು ವಿಡಿಯೋ ಕರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿ, ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಹಾಫ್ ಬರ್ತಾ ಇದೆ.
half ಬರ್ತಾ ಇದೆ.
ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ನಿಮ್ದು, ಯಾ, ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಯು ಮೇಡಮ್.
That's okay. Okay. Now, if you could see, I will not read all this, but this is for you to read. But then I just would like to take your attention here. It's a self-explanatory. I'll take few examples, one or two, wherein I just want to show you that, how you can identify which human factor is playing a bigger role and what could be, the solution for this. Say, for example, sometimes it happens that we are misplacing the keys or spectacles. If you look at this, you say that you are absent-minded, but do you know that whether the person is under stress or maybe fatigue? And most of the time, since we are working as wellness coach also, we could see with our clients saying that even the people do not understand that they have gone into fatigue. So I'm going to address this fatigue type, because including me, I'm saying, though I'm a trainer, I am also a human being, and I have also crossed this stage. Because in the work pressure and the kind of stress and then the health conditions, it is leading towards that fatigue, and that fatigue should not get converted into something which is a very medical emergency, and that's our task to look at. Most of the times in our day-to-day life, what we do is we rush. We have a lot of responsibilities, and we cannot get away of all these responsibilities. But then how this misunderstanding happens, that we just see that, this is a part, like, somebody is negligent, somebody is irresponsible, somebody is like, not paying attention, somebody is very careless, he doesn't care about, these things. That is why he has left the key, he did not lock the door, he did not close the tab. But then there are other things also, like I'm sending an email without the attachment. Sometimes it could be lack of communication, it could be distraction also. It was not told that this attachment was done. It had this email has to be done with this attachment. Check your communication with your colleagues, check your communication with your children, or maybe with your partners, and think, was my communication correct? Did I give the full instructions to them? Or I was under some pressure there, and I have given a half information to those people. Misleading exam instructions, misreading exam instructions. Maybe it's like we feel that, how can you not give attention? But there is a stress, or there is a lack of knowledge. Now, why I put this is, I will share one more incident here. I will not take the name of the person, a very leading case officer, but her daughter was very intelligent. She was also studying for her JEE exams. All the time till PUC2, she was topper. When she had gone to write this exam, what happened is, in that particular school file, college facility or whatever, her number was put on the first floor, and the first floor was covered with sheets. And it was, say, huge humidity, and she could not bear that heat, and she could not pay the attention constantly on that screen and all that. She could not perform. She could not even qualify for the advanced JEE. At that time, there were no two exams for JEE, but it was like main JEE and then advanced JEE. And that is how she could not even qualify for that. Imagine. And then if I say that you did not pay attention, you could not do well, that was not the real reason. She was intelligent enough though, but could not pay the attention because of some environmental factors which has played a bigger role there, and she could not bear with that. And that was another thing. So there could be typing errors. We feel that it's a careless typing. People don't give, maybe, it's a negligence part as such, but it's not. It's like fatigue. Maybe missing a bus stop while daydreaming. Most of the times it happens that the bus stop remains behind. And or maybe when we are going to house, sometimes we go to the next cross, and then we realize, we have also missed one cross. These small things, but then it keeps on doing. So try to understand, what kind of, that's why we have to be alert. Being alert is like being aware, and then when we are aware, then only we become alert. And that is the only mantra, to tackle with these human factors. Now, if you see this picture, what do you see? What do you feel? I'm not going to deal with all the 12 factors. I'll just take few, and I'll just brief all those.
Little
which are
awkward, madam. Something awkward.
something which is awkward. Okay, very
It's
nice.
an irresponsible person.
Okay, what else?
He is confident that it's not active railway track.
Very nice, sir. Prakash sir, absolutely right. Here, if we see, the man is, doing right task, ಸರಿ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ, ಬಟ್ ಪ್ಲೇಸ್ ರಾಂಗ್ ಇದೆ. ಸರಿನಾ?
ಹೌದು.
ಯಾಕೆ ಸರಿ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡ್ತದ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಪೇಪರ್ ಸೀದಾ ಇಟ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದಾನೆ, ಉಲ್ಟಾ ಇಟ್ಕೊಂಡಿಲ್ಲ. ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ ನಂಬರ್ 1. Now, this is something which is overconfidence. Okay. And I'm going to deal with this one part which in thorough, which is complacency. So let's look at this. One incident ಹೇಳಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಇಷ್ಟಪಡ್ತೀನಿ. ಕೊರೋನಾ ಟೈಮ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ಐ ಥಿಂಕ್ ಎವ್ರಿಬಡಿ ಈಸ್ ಅವೇರ್ ಅಬೌಟ್ ಮುಂಬೈ ಸೂರತ್ ರೈಲ್ವೆ ಇನ್ಸಿಡೆಂಟ್. ಜನ UP ಸೈಡ್ ಜನ, ಎಲ್ಲ ಸೈಡ್ ಜನ ರೋಡ್ ಮೇಲೆ ಬಂದರು. ದೇ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟೆಡ್ ಇವನ್ ವಾಕಿಂಗ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ದೇ ವಾಂಟೆಡ್ ಟು ಗೋ ಹೋಮ್. ದೇ ವಾಸ್ ನೋ ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ಪೋರ್ಟ್ ಸಿಸ್ಟಮ್, ನಥಿಂಗ್ ವಾಸ್ ದೇರ್. ನೀರು ಕುಡಿದು ಬಿಸ್ಕಿಟ್ಸ್ ತಿಂದು ಇವರೆಲ್ಲ ಓಡಾಡಿ ರಾತ್ರಿ ಹೋಗಿ ರೈಲ್ವೆ ಟ್ರ್ಯಾಕ್ ಮೇಲೆ ಮಲ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಒಂದೇ ಒಂದು ನ್ಯೂಸ್ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತೇನಂತಂದ್ರೆ ರೈಲ್ವೆ ಎಲ್ಲ ಸಿಸ್ಟಮ್ ಬಂದಾಗಿದೆ ಅಂತ. ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ರೈಲ್ವೇಸ್ ವೇರ್ ನಾಟ್ ರನ್ನಿಂಗ್, ಬಟ್ ದೇ ವೇರ್ ನಾಟ್ ಅವೇರ್ ದಟ್ ಗುಡ್ಸ್ ಟ್ರೈನ್ ರನ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾವೆ. And all these people were so much tired, ಆ ಫಟಿಗ್ಲೆ ಮಲ್ಕೊಂಡ್ಬಿಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ. They did not even know when the railway came on that, this goods train. Even the railway people, they did not know. All of those were sleeping on the track. ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ ಬಹಳ ಥಂಡಿನೂ ಇತ್ತಲ್ಲ, ಸೊ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಅವರೆಲ್ಲ ಮಲ್ಕೊಂಡ್ಬಿಟ್ಟಿದ್ರು. I think lots of people have died, under that particular train thing. So this was lack of awareness. ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ ಓವರ್ ಕಾನ್ಫಿಡೆನ್ಸ್ ಏನಿತ್ತಂದ್ರೆ ಇಲ್ಲೇ ಯಾವಾಗ್ಲೂ ಟ್ರೈನ್ ಬರಂಗಿಲ್ಲ, ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ ಟ್ರೈನ್ಸ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಕ್ಲೋಸ್ ಆಗ್ಬಿಟ್ಟಿದೆ. ಸೊ ದಿಸ್ ಪರ್ಸನ್ ಈಸ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ ಲೈಕ್ ಸಿಟಿಂಗ್ ಹಿಯರ್, ವಿಚ್ ಇಸ್ ಮೇ ಬಿ sometimes we are doing the right task, but we are at wrong place. Second thing, what do you see here? Anybody? Which factor?
Driver's negligence.
Drivers, negligence. Okay. So sometimes, no, thank you so much. You gave me this response. Complacency ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಕೂಡ, ಓವರ್ ಕಾನ್ಫಿಡೆನ್ಸ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಕೂಡ ನೆಗ್ಲಿಜೆನ್ಸ್ ಅಂತಾರೆ. ಇಟ್ಸ್ ನಾಟ್ ನೆಗ್ಲಿಜೆನ್ಸ್. I'll come back to that. So it's a distraction, completely distraction, that you are on the phone and you are diverted from your driving part and you are not seeing that lady which is coming. What is this? Can somebody help me? Identify, Madhuri, one of the factor.
Fatigue.
Yes, ma'am. Very nice. Thank you so much. What about this?
Stress.
Yes, stress. And what about this?
Perception.
Lack of
Yes.
Lack
Who
of
said this? Lack of communication. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Or is it like my way, highway attitude?
Yes, sir. So, but then that becomes also, we are not understanding the perception. That is why most of the times in our workplaces, the perception-based errors are more. Because we never try to understand other person's view. And that is major reason for having lack of communication as well. So let's look at, these factors. Prakash sir, you can just update me on the time. If, if I'm running very late, then you can just tell me. Because I'm just going to deal with these 5 factors. Let me just give you this a glance so that you could at least give me your views, even to mitigate this task. So complacency is basically like, it's not negligence, all of you. ಕಾಂಪ್ಲಸೆನ್ಸಿ ಯಾವಾಗ ಬರ್ತದೆ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ 2 ಮಾತನ್ನು ನೆನಪಿಟ್ಕೊಳ್ರಿ. ನಾನು ಸಿಂಪ್ಟಮ್ಸು ಕೂಡ ಹೇಳ್ತೇನೆ, ಪ್ಲಸ್ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಸೋರ್ಸ್ ಕೂಡ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಬರ್ದಿದ್ದೀನಿ, ಹೆಂಗೆ ಮಿಟಿಗೇಟ್ ಮಾಡೋದನ್ನು ಬರ್ದಿದ್ದೀನಿ. ಬಟ್ ಒಂದೇನಂತಂದ್ರೆ, ಆಸ್ ಏಜ್ ಗ್ರೋಸ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಆಸ್ ದ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೀರಿಯನ್ಸ್ ಗ್ರೋಸ್, ಎವ್ರಿ ಪರ್ಸನ್ ಬಿಕಮ್ಸ್ ಕಾಂಪ್ಲಸೆಂಟ್. ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಯು ಪ್ಲೀಸ್ ಫೋಕಸ್ ಆನ್ ದಿಸ್. ಆಲ್ ಆಫ್ ಅಸ್, ಲೆಟ್ಸ್ ಫೋಕಸ್ ಆನ್ ದಿಸ್. ಏಜ್ ಅಂತೂ ನಿಂದ್ರಸಕ್ಕೆ ಆಗಂಗಿಲ್ಲ. ಇಯರ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೀರಿಯನ್ಸ್ ಮಾಡಲಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ವಿಟಮಿನ್ ಎಮ್ ನಮ್ಮ ಬ್ಯಾಂಕ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ಬರಲ್ಲ. Or maybe our growth doesn't happen. But then with both the things, we become more overconfident. ಯಾವ ಮೂಮೆಂಟ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ನಮಗೆ ಚಲ್ತಾ ಹೇ attitude ಬಂತಂತಂದ್ರೆ, because this is all attitudinal problem. ಇದೇ ರೂಟಿಗೆ ನಾನು 1000 times ಹೋಗಿದ್ದೀನಿ, ಇದೇ ಕೆಲಸ ನಾನು ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೀನಿ. ಸೊ ರಿಪಿಟೇಟಿವ್ ರುಟೀನ್ ಟಾಸ್ಕ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ನಾನು SOP ಗೊತ್ತಿದೆ, ನಾನು ವಯೋಲೇಷನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ. ಇದೇ ರೋಡಿಗೆ ನಾನು 120 ಸಲ ಹೋಗಿದ್ದೀನಿ, ಬಿಂದಾ ಸ್ಪೀಡ್ಲೆ ನಾನು ಗಾಡಿ ಹೊಡಿತೀನಿ, ಕೈಂಡ್ ಆಫ್ ಥಿಂಗ್ಸ್. ಎಷ್ಟೋ ಸಲ ನಾನು ಹೆಲ್ಮೆಟ್ ಹಾಕೊಂಡು ಹೋಗಿಲ್ಲ, ನನಗೇನೂ ಆಗಿಲ್ಲ, ಹೆಲ್ಮೆಟ್ ಹಾಕೋದು ಅವಶ್ಯಕತೆನೇ ಇಲ್ಲ. No kind of thing. So monotonous task if we are doing, repetitive task ittandre kuda, plus age and number of years of experience. And here what happens is, this is majorly, this is one of the major human factors which has been developed among all of us. You see around people, you look at yourself also, and you will find that you also at some places have become complacent. ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ ನಮ್ಗೆ ಅದು ಓವರ್ ಕಾನ್ಫಿಡೆನ್ಸ್ ಡೆವಲಪ್ ಆಗ್ಬಿಟ್ಟಿರ್ತದ, ಅದು ಚಲ್ತಾ ಆಟಿಟ್ಯೂಡ್ ಬಂದಿರ್ತದ. ಇಲ್ಲೇ ಹೋಗೋದಲ್ಲ, 2 ನಿಮಿಷ ಹಾದಿ ಇದೆ, ಹಾಲರೆ ತರೋದದ ತಗೊಂಡ್ ಬರ್ತೀನಿ, ಹೆಲ್ಮೆಟ್ ಯಾಕೆ ಹಾಕೊಳ್ಬೇಕು? ನಮ್ಮಲ್ಲಿ ಅಂತೂ ಜನ ಹೆಲ್ಮೆಟ್ ಹಿಂದೆನೆ ಇಟ್ಕೊಂಡ್ ಬಿಟ್ಟಿರ್ತಾರೆ. ಇಫ್ ಸಪೋಸ್ ಅಷ್ಟು ಕಾಂಪ್ಲಸೆನ್ಸ್ ಇರ್ತಿರ್ಕಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ, ಐ ಥಿಂಕ್ ಟಾಟಾ ಮೋಟರ್ಸ್ ಡೈರೆಕ್ಟರ್ ಯಾರವರು, ಸೈರಸ್ ಮಿಸ್ತ್ರಿನೂ ಕೂಡ could have saved himself. There was only one reason, that he had not buckled up his seat. He has not, he was not wearing his seat belt. ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ ಆ ಸೀಟ್ ಬೆಲ್ಟ್ ಮತ್ತೆ ಏರ್ ಬ್ಯಾಗ್ಸ್, ದೇ ವರ್ ಇಂಟರ್ಲಿಂಕ್ಡ್. ಒಂದೇ ಒಂದು ರೀಸನ್, ಬಟ್ ದಟ್ ಕಾಂಪ್ಲಸೆನ್ಸಿ ಪ್ಲೇಸ್ ವೆರಿ ಹೆವಿಲಿ ಆನ್ ಆರ್ ಹ್ಯೂಮನ್ ಮೈಂಡ್ಸ್. ಸೊ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕು ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ, ಇದ್ರಾಗಿಂತ ಕೆಲವೊಂದು ಮಿಸ್ಟೇಕ್ಸ್ ನಿಮಗೂ ಕಾಣಬಹುದು. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ಎಷ್ಟೋ ಸಲ ನೀ ಓದಿದೆಯಲ್ಲಪ್ಪ ಸಾಕು, ನಾನು ಸೈನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ. ಸೊ ನಾವು ಯಾವಾಗಲೂ ಅದನ್ನ ಓದಲ್ಲ. ಯಾವಾಗಲೂ ಅಂಡರ್ಟೇಕಿಂಗ್ ತಗೊಳ್ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ನೀವು ಯೂಶುವಲಿ ಅಂಡರ್ಟೇಕಿಂಗ್ ಐ ಎಕ್ಸೆಪ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂತ ಹೋಗ್ತಾರೆ. ಸೊ ಯಾವಾಗಲೂ ಇದಕ್ಕೆ ನಾವು ಟ್ಯಾಕಲ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಏನಾದ್ರೂ ತಪ್ಪು ಇರ್ಬೋದಲ್ಲ ಇದ್ರಾಗಂತ ಹುಡುಕ್ಯಾಡ್ಕೊಂತ ಹೋಗ್ರಿ. This complacency will be left behind. Okay, never sign off any something that you did not fully check. Double check your work. Don't feel bad. ನನ್ನ ಮಕ್ಕಳನ್ನ ಅನ್ಗಸ್ತಾರ್ರಿ, ಏನಮ್ಮ ನೀನು 2 ಸಲ ಚೆಕ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಿ, 3ನೇ ಸಲ ಚೆಕ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಿ, ಎಷ್ಟು ನಿಂದು ಚೆಕ್ ಲಿಸ್ಟು ಅಂತ ಕೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. ನಾನು ಅಂದೆ ಚೆಕ್ ಲಿಸ್ಟ್ ಯಾಕಂತಂದ್ರೆ, ಮುಂದೆ ಹೋಗಿ ನನಗೆ ಏನಾದರೂ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ನ ಓವರ್ ಕಾನ್ಫಿಡೆಂಟ್ ಆಗಿ ತಗೊಂಡಿದ್ದೇನೆ ತಗೋ, ಸರಿ ಆಯ್ತು ತಗೋ ಅಂತ ಅನ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಲ್ಲ. ಒಂದ್ಸಲ ಇನ್ನೊಂದ್ಸಲ ಓದ್ಕೊಂಡ್ರೆ ಏನು ತೊಂದರೆ ಆಗಲ್ಲ. ಸುತ್ತಮುತ್ತಲ ಇದ್ದವ್ರಿಗೆ ಒಂದ್ಸಲ ಕೇಳಿ, ನೋಡಿಯಪ್ಪ ಡ್ರಾಫ್ಟ್ ಹಿಂಗೆ ಕಾಣಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದೆ, ಇದ್ರಾಗ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಏನು ಅನಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದೆ ನೋಡಿ, ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಹೆಂಗೆ ಫೀಲ್ ಆಗ್ತದೆ ನೋಡಿ. ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಅಗೇನ್ ಅ ಕ್ರಾಸ್ ಚೆಕಿಂಗ್ ಟು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಅ ಎಂಪಥೆಟಿಕ್ ಪಾರ್ಟ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ, wherein lack of communication is also been taken care of. At the same time, being complacent is also been taken care of. So maybe ಅದೇ monotonous task ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದೀವಿ, but do the same things differently ಅಂತ. ಅದೇ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀವಿ, ಬಟ್ ಸಮ್ ವೇರಿಯೇಷನ್ ಅನ್ನು ತಗೊಂಡು ಬರಬೇಕು. ಒಂದು ಸಿಂಪಲ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ಕೊಡ್ತೀನಿ. ಯಾವುದೋ ಅಡ್ಮಿನಿಸ್ಟ್ರೇಟಿವ್ ಆಫೀಸ್ ಆರ್ ಗವರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಆಫೀಸಸ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ಹೋದ್ರೆ ಯಾರಾದ್ರೂ ಆಫೀಸರ್ ಚೇಂಜ್ ಆದ್ರೆ, ಮಿನಿಸ್ಟ್ರಿ ಚೇಂಜ್ ಆದ್ರೆ, ಅವ್ರ ಕಂಪ್ಲೀಟ್ ಅಡ್ಮಿನ್ ಆಫೀಸ್ ಚೇಂಜ್ ಆಗಿರ್ತದೆ. ದೇ ಚೇಂಜ್ ದೇರ್ PAs, ದೇ ಚೇಂಜ್ ದೇರ್ FDAs, ದೇ ಚೇಂಜ್ ದೇರ್ SDS. ಯಾಕೆ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ, ಆ ಕಾಂಪ್ಲಸೆನ್ಸಿ ಅವ್ರಿಗೂ ಬಂದಿರ್ತದಲ್ಲ, ಇವ್ರನ್ನ ಜನ ಬರ್ತಾರಲ್ಲ, ಅವ್ರು ತಿಳ್ಕೊತಾರೆ ಇವ್ರನ್ನ ಮ್ಯಾನೇಜ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು ಅಂತ. ಸೊ ದ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಥಿಂಗ್ ವಿಚ್ ದೇ ಡೂ ಇಸ್, their job roles are being changed. So job rotations is one of the thing which has been used into administrative post to tackle with this complacency. Then next comes like distraction. Here we have huge distractions today. We have lost our patience. There are a lot of other environmental factors also. We have also attentive span ನಮ್ದು ಕಡಿಮೆ ಆಗಿದೆ, ನಮ್ಮ ಫೋಕಸ್ ಕೂಡ ಕಡಿಮೆ ಆಗಿದೆ, ನಮ್ದು ಲಿಸ್ನಿಂಗ್ ಸ್ಪ್ಯಾನ್ ಕೂಡ ಕಡಿಮೆ ಆಗಿದೆ. ನಾವು 20 ನಿಮಿಷ ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ವಿ ಮೊದಲೇ, ಅಟೆಂಟಿವ್ ಇರ್ತಿದ್ವಿ. ಈಗ ನನಗೆ ಅನ್ಸೋ ಮಟ್ಟಿಗೆ 7 to 10 minutes ಬಂದಿದೆ ನಮ್ದು ಅಟೆಂಟಿವ್ ಸ್ಪ್ಯಾಮ್. ನಾವೀಗ 10 ನಿಮಿಷದ ವಿಡಿಯೋ ಇದ್ರೆ ಕೂಡ ನಮ್ಗೆ ಮೀಮ ಮೇಲೆ ಆ ರೀಲ್ಸ್ ಕೂಡ ಸಣ್ಣ 1 ನಿಮಿಷದನ್ನ ಮಾಡಿ ಹಾಕ್ತಾರೆ ಈಗ. ಸೊ ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಹೌ ಇಟ್ ಇಸ್. ಸೊ ಲೆಸ್ ವಿಸಿಬಿಲಿಟಿ ಇರ್ಬೋದು, ಅದರದಿಂದನೂ ಡಿಸ್ಟ್ರಾಕ್ಷನ್ ಆಗ್ತದೆ. ದೇರ್ ಆರ್ ಸರ್ಟನ್ ಫೈನಾನ್ಷಿಯಲ್ ಇಶ್ಯೂಸ್, ದೇರ್ ಆರ್ ಸಮ್ ಪರ್ಸನಲ್ ಇಶ್ಯೂಸ್ which are working on your mind. Somebody is not well, there is a pressure at home. Ivella factors are distract ಮಾಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಇರ್ತದ. So now what we need to do is, one more fact I would like to say here is, our brain is never trained for multitasking. Our brain is only trained for doing one task at a time. So when you intervene with that particular task, it always leads to distraction, lose the focus. So the only key here is, whatever task you are doing, that multitasking is compulsory, otherwise we will not survive. But take one task. Prioritization is the only key for this. One task at a time, fully do it, and then take the next task. And that is how it works. At the same time, what I do also is, in our personal life, is whenever you're going to do some task, left somewhere in between, because there is some other task which is coming up, go back to your seat, and then again go back to 2-step, verify those, and then start from there. That will also help you, not making mistakes. Now, third thing, which is pressure, which is self-induced. It could be like, you have tight schedules, time pressure ಇರ್ತದ, ಸ್ಟ್ರಿಕ್ಟ್ ಫೈನಾನ್ಷಿಯಲ್ ಗೈಡ್ಲೈನ್ಸ್ ಇರ್ತದ, EMIs ಇರ್ಬೋದು, ECS ಇರ್ಬೋದು, ಏನಾದರೂ ಇರ್ಬೋದು. ಬಟ್ ಸೆಲ್ಫ್ ಇಂಡ್ಯೂಸ್ ಪ್ರೆಷರ್ ನಾವು ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಬಾರ್ದು. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದಂತಂದ್ರೆ ವಿ ಟೀಚ್ ಇವನ್ ಇನ್ ಕಮ್ಯುನಿಕೇಶನ್ ಸ್ಕಿಲ್ ಇಸ್ at any point of time, if you are running out of time, if you have lot of work to be done, please ask for extra help. Go and communicate openly to people, like with people, with your colleagues, with your teammates, saying that you may need some time, or maybe how you're going to tackle with this timeline, because asking extra help itself is an issue. We don't want to go and ask anybody, because sometimes that ego comes. Sometimes it's like a relationship with those teammates that is going to plays a bigger role on our minds, and that's why we are not even ready for open discussions. I think to tackle with this pressure, we should have open discussions also with people and speak about that problem, completely with those people, to find out maybe the solutions. Now, stress is from many places. It's technology changing every now and then. ನಾವು ಮತ್ತು ಹೊಸಾದ್ ಕ್ಯಾಚಪ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕಾಗ್ತದೆ, could be one thing. ನನ್ನ ಸುತ್ತಮುತ್ತಲು ಇದ್ದಿದ್ದೆ ಎರ್ಗೊನಾಮಿಕ್ಸ್ ಸರಿ ಇರಕ್ಕೆಲ್ಲಾಗಿತ್ತು. ಮೇ ಬಿ ಇಲ್ಯುಮಿನೇಷನ್ ಇಫೆಕ್ಟ್ಸ್ ಆರ್ ನಾಟ್ ಗುಡ್. ಮೇ ಬಿ ದೇರ್ ಇಸ್ ಲಾಟ್ ಆಫ್ ನಾಯ್ಸ್ ವಿಚ್ ಕೀಪ್ಸ್ ಕಮಿಂಗ್, and that is adding stress. Lot of concrete work also which is happening, maybe infrastructure development which is happening, long working hours, lack of sleep, poor interpersonal relationship which is adding to the stress, conflicting views. So normally it has been said, and you all know that, because stress management and conflict management is what you people are doing it for your teammates, so I don't have to talk about it. But then just I feel that as wellness coach, we should think on having healthy eating, exercise, sufficient amount of rest, which could reduce your stress levels. And again, to release your stress, you need to have open communication. Take some expert tips or takeaways from people, how they have tackled with such kind of situations and all that. I think open communication is one thing which helps to tackle many problems in our life. And here, this particular part I would like to talk, because fatigue is one such thing. There are two types of fatigues which have been developed. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ನಾವು ಥಕಾನ ಅಂತೀವಿ. ಒನ್ ಈಸ್ ಅಕ್ಯೂಟ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಅನದರ್ ಒನ್ ಈಸ್ ಕ್ರಾನಿಕ್. ಅಕ್ಯೂಟ್ ಏನದಲ್ರಿ, ಅದು ನಾವು ಮ್ಯಾನೇಜ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು. ಬಟ್ ಕ್ರಾನಿಕ್ ಆತಂದ್ರೆ ಯು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ಗೋ ಟು ಮೆಡಿಕಲ್ ಪ್ರಾಕ್ಟಿಷನರ್, ಅಂಡ್ ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಸಮಥಿಂಗ್ ಲೈಕ್ ಅ ಹ್ಯೂಜ್ ಟ್ರೀಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಯು ನೀಡ್ ಟು ಟೇಕ್. ಸೊ ಫಟಿಗ್ ಡೆವಲಪ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆಯಪ್ಪ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ, ಮೋಸ್ಟ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ಟೈಮ್ ದಿಸ್ ಫಟಿಗ್ ಇಸ್ ಡೆವಲಪ್ ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ವಿ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಓವರ್ವರ್ಕ್ಡ್. maybe lack of sleep is major reason for that. And one step ahead, which is gone, which is one of the reason, you just go to your Google tab button and just see this something called as sleep apnea, which is the major reason for a lot of cardiac arrests and everything, and the deaths which happen into the sleep. So please work on this fatigue, which should not go to the chronic level. The major task which you could to do it at acute level is like, you can have yoga nidra, you can cover up your sleep, you can have meditation, you can have mindfulness practices, these kind of things. And then at the same time, whenever you feel you get time, that is what I have applied, because even I have very irregular travel, irregular eating habits, maybe having a lot of stress, maybe when I was working as director of MBA college and kind of thing. But then when I started working with these human factors, I've also realized some of the tips which I got now, that if whenever you feel like your body demands for sleep, you please sleep whenever you get time, and cover up that sleep loan, what we call it as. And that's one of the thing which you can always use it as mitigating this fatigue. And the last part which I would like to say here is lack of communication. ಒಂದೇ ಒಂದು ಇನ್ಫಾರ್ಮೇಶನ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಒಂದು ಸೂತ್ರ ಕೊಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಏನಂತೇವೆ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ನಾವು ಒಂದು ಗೋಲ್ಡನ್ ರೂಲ್ ಅಂತಂತೇವಿ. ಹೌ ಮೆನಿ ಇಯರ್ಸ್ ಡು ವಿ ಹ್ಯಾವ್? 2. How many eyes do we have? 2. And we have 1 mouth. But then if you use it in order, I think there will be no problem with the communication. But ನಾವು ಹೆಂಗ್ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೇವೆ ಅದನ್ನ ಯೋಚನೆ ಮಾಡಿ ಎಲ್ಲರೂ. ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಯಾವ್ದು ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೇವೆ ಅದನ್ನ ಹೇಳ್ರಿ.
ಮೌತ್ ಮೇಡಮ್.
Yes, exactly. So simple rule ಇದನ್ನ ಅಪ್ಲೈ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ, listen actively, see carefully, and then respond. That is how it teaches you not to react, but say, respond. Another thing, a very interesting thing, ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ ನಮ್ಗೆ ಏನಂತಾರಂತಂದ್ರೆ, ಏನಮ್ಮ ಅದೇ 2 ಸಲ ಹೇಳ್ತಿ, 3 ಸಲ ಹೇಳ್ತಿ. But then that is the right way what you are doing. Never feel bad about it. ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ even in medical, this is one of the mitigating tasks. That's why I put it as one of the paragraph here. ಸರ್ಜರಿ ರೂಮ್ ನಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ಪರ್ಸನಲಿ ಸರ್ಜರಿ ರೂಮ್ ನೋಡಿಲ್ಲ, ಆಪರೇಷನ್ ಥಿಯೇಟರ್ ನೋಡಿಲ್ಲ. ಬಟ್ ಡ್ಯೂರಿಂಗ್ ಸರ್ಜರಿ ಮೂವಿನಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಡಿರ್ಬೋದು, ಡಾಕ್ಟರ್ಗೆ ಸ್ಕಲ್ಪೆಲ್ ಇಲ್ಲಾಂದ್ರೆ ಸೀಸರ್ಸ್ ಬೇಕಾಗಿದ್ರೆ he says Caesars. And the nurse, when she's handing it over, she also says Caesars. ಅದ್ರಾಗ 2 ಉದ್ದೇಶ ಇರ್ತದ್ರಿ. ಒಂದು, ಡಾಕ್ಟರ್ ಸೀಸರ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನ ಕೇಳಿದಾರಲ್ಲ, ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಡಾಕ್ಟರ್ಗೆ ಅರಿವು ಆಗ್ಬೇಕಲ್ಲ, ನಾನು ಸೀಸರ್ಸ್ ಕೊಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ. Even she is ensuring that doctor has asked for Caesars and I am also giving Caesars. So it's a kind of awareness. So we call it as double communication. And this is one of the way, which is also like, tell to your brain that yes, you are saying it loudly also, and that comes into the action at the other, like, at the same time the other person is also getting aware, saying that are nan Caesars ಬೇಕಾಗಿದೆ, or ನನಗೇನು ಸ್ಕಾಲ್ಪೆಲ್ ಬೇಕಾಗಿದೆ, what did I ask? Maybe in a stress I have asked something else, but then she is giving me this, so ನನ್ನ ಕೈಯಲ್ಲಿ ಬರೋದು ಟೂಲನು ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿ ಬರ್ತಾ ಇದೆ, or maybe correct tool ಬರ್ತಾ ಇದೆ, rather than ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿ we can call it as the right tool he is getting into his hand. And this is only, one of the, like, mitigating task which the medical field has developed, into their operation theaters also. And this is called as challenge response system. Okay. So one more thing which I would like to mention here, none of the human factors come alone. ಇದು ಯಾವಾಗಲೂ ನೆನಪಿಟ್ರಿ. ಒಂದೇ ಸಿಂಗಲ್ ಫ್ಯಾಕ್ಟರ್ ನಮ್ಮ ಮೈಂಡ್ ನಮ್ಮ ಕಡೆ ಯಾವಾಗಲೂ ಬರಲ್ಲ, ನಮ್ಮ ಮೈಂಡ್ ಮೇಲೆ ಯಾವಾಗಲೂ ಎಫೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗಲ್ಲ. ಯಾವುದೋ ಸ್ಮಾಲ್ ಇನ್ಸಿಡೆಂಟ್ ಆಗಲಿ, ಯಾವುದೋ ಒಂದು ಆಕ್ಸಿಡೆಂಟ್ ಆಗಲಿ, ಯಾವುದೋ ಒಂದು ಮಿಸ್ಟೇಕ್ ಆಗಲಿ, ಮುಂದೆ ಒಂದು ನಮ್ಗೆ ಇರ್ತದಲ್ಲ, ಗ್ರೂಪ್ನಾಗ ಒಂದು ಲೀಡರ್ ಇರ್ತಾನೆ, ಮತ್ತು ಹಿಂದ್ಗಡೆ ಒಂದಿಷ್ಟು ಜನ ನಿಂತಿರ್ತಾರಲ್ಲ, ಆ ಥರ ಒಂದು ಮೇಜರ್ ಹ್ಯೂಮನ್ ಫ್ಯಾಕ್ಟರ್ ಕಾಣ್ಬೋದು. ಹಿಂದ್ಗಡೆ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಮತ್ತೊಂದು 2-3 ಹ್ಯೂಮನ್ ಫ್ಯಾಕ್ಟರ್ಸನ್ನು ಕಾಣ್ತಾವೆ ನಿಮಗೆ. ಸೊ ಯಾವತ್ತೂ ಅವ್ರು ಒಂದೇ ಒಂದು ಸಿಂಗಲ್ ಬರಲ್ಲ, ಲೈಕ್ ಫಟಿಗ್ ಈಸ್ ಓನ್ಲಿ ಪ್ಲೇಯಿಂಗ್ ಅ ರೋಲ್ ಅಂತ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಪ್ರೆಷರು ಅದೇ. ಒಂದು ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ಹಾಕಿದ್ದೀನಿ, ಯು ಆರ್ ಟಯರ್ಡ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಲೇಟ್ ಫಾರ್ ಎನ್ ಅಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್, ಸೊ ಯು ಸ್ಪೀಡ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಮಿಸ್ ಅ ಸ್ಟಾಪ್ ಸೈನ್. ಇಲ್ಲೇನಾಗಿದೆ ಅಂದರೆ ನೀವು ಟಯರ್ಡ್ ಆಗಿದ್ದೀರಿ, ನೀವು ಲೇಟ್ ಹೋಗ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀರಿ, ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಲೇಟ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ನೀವು ಓಡ್ತೀರಿ, ನೀವು ಓವರ್ ಸ್ಪೀಡಿಂಗ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಿ, ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ದೆನ್ ಇದ್ರಾಗ ಏನೇನು ಆಗ್ತದೆ ಅಂತ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತು. ನಿಮಗೆಲ್ಲ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೀರಿಯನ್ಸ್ ಇದೆ. ಈಗ ಬೆಂಗಳೂರಿನಲ್ಲಿ ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ರಶ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರಲ್ಲ, ಅವಾಗ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗುತ್ತೆ. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಕಾಂಪ್ಲಸೆನ್ಸಿ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಡಿಸ್ಟ್ರಾಕ್ಷನ್ ಏನಾಗ್ತದಂದ್ರೆ, ಆಸ್ ಐ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪ್ಲೇನ್ ಟು ಯು, ರೂಟೀನ್ ಇರ್ತದ, ನೀವು ಅದೇ ರೋಡಿಗೆ ಹೋಗ್ತಾರೆ, ಬಟ್ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲಲ್ಲ ಆ ರೋಡಿಗೆ ಏನೋ ಮತ್ತು ಕನ್ಸ್ಟ್ರಕ್ಷನ್ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿದೆ. ಸೊ ಮೇ ಬಿ ಇಟ್ಸ್ ಲೈಕ್ ನೀವು ತಪ್ಪು ಬಿಡ್ತೀರಾ, ಹೋಗ್ಬಿಡ್ತೀರಾ, ಫೋಕಸ್ ಹೋಗ್ಬಿಡ್ತದ. ಸೊ just observe any incident which is there. Maybe for few days you have to do it to create that awareness, but once you understand, these things are there, then you have to keep repeating it. Human mind tries to dilute the things within 72 hours. People who are here as, they are working as sales persons or maybe having sales oriented targets, we normally train these to people saying that ಒಂದು ಯಾವುದೋ ಒಂದು ಡೀಲ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ 72 hours, ಆಫ್ಟರ್ ದಟ್ ಇಟ್ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ಸ್ ಡೈಲ್ಯೂಟಿಂಗ್, ಮತ್ತೆ ನಾವು ರೀಓಪನ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾಗ್ತದೆ. ದಟ್ ಇಸ್ ವೈ ವಿ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ಕ್ಲೋಸ್ ದ ಡೀಲ್ ವಿದಿನ್ 72 hours ಅಂತ ನಾರ್ಮಲಿ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ, ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಹ್ಯೂಮನ್ ಮೈಂಡ್ ಇಸ್ ಲೈಕ್ ದ್ಯಾಟ್. ನಾವು ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಏನಂತೇವೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ, ನಮ್ಮ ಲೇಮನ್ಸ್ ಲ್ಯಾಂಗ್ವೇಜ್ನಾಗ ಸಮಯ ಬಂದ ತಕ್ಷಣ ಸಮಯನೇ ಎಲ್ಲ ಇದೆಯಪ್ಪ ಸೊಲ್ಯೂಷನು, ಸಮಯದ ಜೊತೆಗೆ ನಮ್ದೆಲ್ಲ ಸರಿಯಾಗಿ ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ, ಏನೂ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ ಆಗಲ್ಲ, ಸೊ ಮರ್ತು ಬಿಡ್ತೀವಿ ಆಮೇಲೆ. ಸೊ ಆ ನಿಟ್ಟಿನಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ಹೋಗ್ತೇವೆ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ನಮ್ಮ ಬ್ರೈನ್ ಆ ಥರ ಫಂಕ್ಷನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತದೆ, ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ವಿ ಡೋಂಟ್ ಫೋಕಸ್ ಆನ್ ಸಮಥಿಂಗ್ ಕಾಲ್ಡ್ ಆಸ್ ರ್ಯಾಮ್ ಆಫ್ ಅವರ್ ಬ್ರೈನ್, and then which is something which is like, the long-term things which are there at the bottom. We forget what is there which we have seen in the long term, but we just look at certain things which are momentarily been done also. That is also one reason which comes into human capabilities. So maybe it's by and large, few things are being mentioned here is the mantras, you can call it as, or maybe a day-to-day task which you can make yourself aware. Before any transition, we call it as 3-second rule. In industry, we call it as 2 minutes, golden minutes. That is 2 minutes. Like you go to any work, don't start immediately. Just observe what's around. Make yourself aware about the conditions. Whatever task you are doing, stop. Maybe in those 3 seconds or 2 seconds, you just have a glance and then try to understand whether things are all right. As I said, reset your situational awareness. Externalize memory. Don't rely on your brain to remember the things. Rather, you can create some cues. You can have your checklists. There's nothing wrong in writing and keeping it. We are not answering to anybody, and it's not that we are going to do a show off with somebody saying that I could remember so many things, because I've seen n number of people and with n number of incidents sharings wherein people try to do certain things which is like autopilot mode. Please don't work on autopilot mode, because most of the time the complacency is nothing but autopilot mode only. Now, verbalized intent is to fix communication gaps. As I said, say loudly, I'm going to, going to the store now to buy milk. It is forcing your brain to register that action, because most of the times this inattentive blindness, without our knowledge, it happens. And that is why, we have to work upon this. Thank you so much. I have done from my side. I have just tried. I think I've taken 16 minutes extra. If any questions you have, you can please ask me.
No worries, madam. It was a interactive session. There are a couple of questions. Let's first take out the questions what is in the chat. Then if anybody wants to, okay, the first question is that how protocols affect human factors ಅಂತ ಕೇಳಿದ್ದಾರೆ ನೋಡಿ.
Okay. Protocols is something when you do it, that is like you have taken care of putting the things into system. So when I say protocols, follow protocols that will help you to overcome the complacency. Because to overcome complacency, we always say follow SOPs. No matter how experienced you are, please follow whatever the protocols have been set. And that will be the wonderful thing which you will have in your life, wherein you will have less chances to make the mistakes.
Yeah, thank you, madam. I think the person.
Can I close my PPT?
Yeah, please.
Yes, fine.
Yes.
One second. So that we could, discuss.
Yeah.
I just.
So in the interest of time, any one or two questions we can take, if people can raise hands or unmute themselves.
Not a question, madam. Just thanking and complimenting the session, because I was reading a concept yesterday, madam. You have given a 1 hour session on that today.
Actually, Arun, it's like a debatable topic because lot of things come up. Systematic ಏನ್ ಬರ್ತದ, plus violations ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನಾಗ್ತದ, routine violation, exceptional violations, all those things. But then I just wanted to bring the focus on day-to-day life things, wherein lot of things which goes into misunderstandings.
Correct.
And that's what I felt like, I should give at least some focus on this topic so that people could start thinking about it. ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ ಇದು ಥಿಂಕ್ ಟ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಇದೆ, ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ನಾವು ಓದ್ಬೋದು, ಅದರ ಮೇಲೆ ಒಂದು ಹೈಲೈಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ they could find out their own solutions also.
That line was saying, ma'am, thinking is an effort. Judging is very easy.
Yeah, very nice.
People judge you. I
True.
think that leads to complacency indirectly.
Yes.
I could connect to this session very well, actually. And one incident happened, ma'am, last 3 weeks back when you showed that Titanic, right? A similar incident happened in North Madhya Pradesh. They were so complacent that when that boat sank, they were thinking storm won't come because it has never come so far.
Yes.
And there were no life jackets, but they were there in the ship only, boat only. It took time to pull them out. It was a brand new bag, actually. So they could not save everybody because they were so complacent that nothing will happen. One. Then second, okay, anyway, we have the life jacket, we can give it. But that did not happen. It took a lot of time. Some people lost lives. Very soon.
Let's relate this. I think we lost Vinay and I think Sujata, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. And that was a very big incident that we all cried and we still miss. I mean, though it's been, the way it has been narrated. But then one thing ನಾನು ಅನ್ಸಿದ್ದು ಹೇಳ್ತದೆ, this is my perception, my understanding. ನಾವು ಬಹುಶಃ ಯಾರ ಟೀಮ್ ಇದ್ರಲ್ಲ, ಯಾರು ಕರ್ಕೊಂಡು ಹೋಗಿದ್ದು ಪ್ರೊಫೆಷನಲ್ ಏಜೆನ್ಸಿ ಇತ್ತು, ಅವ್ರು ನಮ್ಮ ಹೆಲ್ಪಿಗೆ ಬರ್ಬೋದು, ಅವರೆಲ್ಲ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ನಾವು ಯೋಚನೆ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಹೋಗ್ತೇವೇನೋ. ಬಟ್ ಅವ್ರು ನಮ್ಮನ್ನು ರೀಚ್ ಆಗಲಿಲ್ಲ ಅಲ್ಲಿ, ಅವ್ರ ಹೆಲ್ಪನ್ನು ರೀಚ್ ಆಗಲಿಲ್ಲ. They could have saved people maybe.
That's true. Even local agency did not help much, which they were supposed to do. There were supposed to be 18 support staff and there were only 3 actually on that.
ಒಂದೇ ಏನಾಗ್ತದಂದ್ರೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ why we have to work on these human factors ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ, ನಾವು ರಿಸ್ಕ್ ಟೇಕಿಂಗ್ ಅಬಿಲಿಟೀಸನ್ನ ಬೆಳೆಸ್ತೀವಿ. ಈಗ ನಾವು ಸಪೋಸ್ ಬೈಕರ್ ಇದಾನಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಅವನ್ನೆಲ್ಲ ಗೇರ್ಸ್ ಹಾಕೋತಾನ್ರಿ, ಸೇಫ್ಟಿ ಗೇರ್ಸ್ ಹಾಕೋತಾನ. ಅವಾಗ ಏನಂತಾನಂದ್ರೆ ಹಿ ಈಸ್ ಪ್ರಿಪೇರ್ಡ್, ಬಟ್ ಅವ ಏನಂತಾನಂದ್ರೆ ಅವ್ನು ಲಿಮಿಟ್ ಪುಷ್ ಮಾಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಅವನು ಅದು ಸೇಫ್ಟಿ ಗೇರ್ಸನ್ನು ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾನ. ಆಮೇಲೆ ನಾವು ಒಂದು ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ಹೇಳ್ತಿದ್ವಿ, ಭಗವಾನ್ ನಮ್ಮ ಕಡೆ 1000 ಸಲ ಇದಾಗ್ಯದಪ್ಪ, ನನಗೇನೂ ಆಗಿಲ್ಲ. ನೀನು ಏನು ಬರೆದು ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೋ, ಬಾಂಡ್ ಬರೆದು ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೋ, 1001 ಟೈಮ್ಸ್ ನಿನ್ಗೆ ಏನಾದ್ರೆ ನಿನ್ನ ಜೊತೆ ಇನ್ಸಿಡೆಂಟ್ ಆಗ್ತದಂತ. ದರ್ ಇಸ್ ನೋ ಸಚ್ ಬಾಂಡ್. ಸೊ ಯು ನೆವರ್ ನೋ. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಮೂಮೆಂಟ್ ಕುಡ್ ಬಿ ಇನ್ನೂವರೆಗೂ ಆಗಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂತೇಳಿ ಇನ್ನು ಮುಂದೆ ಆಗುದಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಏನಂತೇವಲ್ರಿ, ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಓನ್ಲಿ ಕಂಪ್ಲಸನ್ಸಿ. ಅಂಡ್ ಮೇಜರ್ ಥಿಂಗ್ಸ್ ಹ್ಯಾಪನ್ ದೇರ್ ಓನ್ಲಿ.
See, another example is you look at the pilots, right? All complacency allowed at him. You have to whatever hundreds of flights you
Yes.
might have flown, but you have to tick those
Yes.
all the boxes.
Correct. Unless and but there is also another part which has happened here. Since Praveen identified rightly, I would share one of the Indonesia, plane crash which was there. And what happened is there was some problem with the nozzle when they were having, maybe landing. During that landing, this particular part, there was a fire on that part, and he could not save people there. Now, when the incident investigation was done, a small thing has happened is like they have made some software changes and some mechanism to tackle with that nozzle, but then this thing was not put into the manual, because the manual is supposed to be read by those pilots. There is very strict SOP which has been followed into aviation industry, especially concerned to these human factors. And at the same time, none of them were given even training, or maybe has been also told about this nose control mechanism. And because of that, that incident had happened, and a lot of people were also died in that particular incident.
Yes, madam. This is one of the very interactive session which people have attended, and I'm sure that participants have enjoyed it. And the videos what we are recording, and people who will watch them later also will realize that we have got such a talented persons in our group in UKSL, and given a chance, whenever we give them a chance, definitely they will come up there 100% to share, right, with this one. The topic is excellent one, and it is definitely is going to use it is going to help us not only in daily life, in our office environment, may it be software industry or any other industry, or even a common things like that. ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಆಲ್ ನೀವು ಭಾಳ ಚಲೋ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರಿ. ಮಿಸ್ಟೇಕ್ ಮತ್ತೆ ಎರರ್ ನಡುವ ಡಿಫ್ರೆನ್ಸ್ ಗೊತ್ತಿರಲಿಲ್ಲ ನಮ್ಗೆ ಭಾಳ ಮಂದಿಗೆ. ಅದನ್ನ ಕ್ಲಿಯರ್ ಆಗಿ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರಿ. ಆಮೇಲೆ ನಿಮ್ದು ಹೇಳಿದ್ರಲ್ಲ, ಇದೇನಂದ್ರೆ ಹ್ಯೂಮನ್ ಫ್ಯಾಕ್ಟರ್ಸ್ನ ದುಶ್ಮನ್ ಇದ್ದದನ್ನ ಹೆಂಗೆ ದೋಸ್ತ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೋಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ. ಡೆಫಿನೆಟ್ಲಿ ಎಸ್, ಇಟ್ಸ್ ಅ ವೆರಿ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಥಿಂಗ್. ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ ನಮ್ಮ ಡೇ ಟು ಡೇ ಲೈಫ್ ಒಳಗಾಗಲಿ, ನಮ್ಮ ಫ್ಯಾಮಿಲಿ ಮೆಂಬರ್ಸ್ ಜೊತೆ ಆಗಲಿ, ಅಥವಾ ಕೊಲೀಗ್ಸ್ ಜೊತೆಗಾಗಲಿ, ನಾವೇನತ್ತ ನಾವು ಕನ್ಫ್ರಂಟಿಂಗ್ ಮೋಡಿಗೆ ಹೋಗ್ಬಿಡ್ತೇವೆ ನೋಡಿ ಸಡನ್ ಆಗಿ. ಅದ್ರ ಬದ್ಲಿ ಅದನ್ನ ಹೆಂಗೆ ನಾವು ನೋಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಬೇಕಂತ ಭಾಳ ಚಲೋ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರಿ. ಆಮೇಲೆ ಇದು ಗ್ಯಾಸ್ ಟ್ರಾಜಿಡಿ, ಭೂಪಾಲ್ ಗ್ಯಾಸ್ ಟ್ರಾಜಿಡಿ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಅದನ್ನ ಎಷ್ಟು ಮಿಸ್ಟೇಕ್ ಅದು ಆಗಿತ್ತು ಅದನ್ನ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರಿ. ಇನ್ನೂ ಅಡಿಗೆ ನಾವು ಜನ ಅದನ್ನ ಫೇಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ಆಮೇಲೆ ಟೈಟಾನಿಕ್ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ನೀವು ಬಹಳ ಡೀಟೇಲ್ ಆಗಿ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ಒಳ್ಳೆ ಕೊಟ್ಟು. ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ ಟೈಟಾನಿಕ್ ನಮಗೆ ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ನಾವು ಮೋಸ್ಟ್ಲಿ ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ನಾವು ಮೂವಿ ನೋಡಿರೋದ್ರಿಂದ ಡೆಫಿನೆಟ್ಲಿ ಅದು ನಮ್ಗೆ ಆ ಟೈಮ್ನಾಗ ಇಟ್ ವಾಸ್ ಅ ಟ್ರೆಂಡ್ ಸೆಟರ್ ಅವಾಗ. ಸೊ ಅದನ್ನ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ನೀವು ಕೊಟ್ಟು ಏನು ಹೇಳಿದ್ರಲ್ಲ, ಡೆಫಿನೆಟ್ಲಿ ದೀಸ್ ಥಿಂಗ್ಸ್ ವಿಲ್ ಡೆಫಿನೆಟ್ಲಿ ಗೋ ಇನ್ ಟು ಅವರ್ ಮೈಂಡ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ರಿಜಿಸ್ಟರ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ಬೋದು. ಆಮೇಲೆ ನೀವು ಒಂದು ಹೇಳಿದ್ರಲ್ಲ, ಎರಡು ರಿಪೀಟ್ ಯಾಕೆ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ ಈಗ ಆಪ್ರೇಷನ್ ಮಾಡೋಬೇಕಾರೆ ಅಂತೇಳಿ. ಅದೇ ರೀತಿ ಒಂದು ಕಾಮನ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ಕೊಡ್ಬೇಕಂದ್ರೆ, ಈ ಹೋಟೆಲ್ನೊಳಗೆ ನಾವು ಮಸಾಲೆ ದೋಸೆ ಆರ್ಡರ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಅವ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಒಳಗೆ ಆರ್ಡರ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾನ, ಮಸಾಲೆ ಒಂದು ಮಸಾಲೆ ಅಂತಾನ, ಅಂದ್ರೆ ರಿಜಿಸ್ಟರ್ ಆಗ್ಬಿಟ್ಟಿರ್ತಾರೆ.
ವೆರಿ ನೈಸ್ಲಿ ಸೆಡ್.
ಆ ಥರ ಇರ್ತದೆ. ಹಿಂಗಾಗಿ ಇವೆಲ್ಲ ನಮ್ಗೆ ಈ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ಸ್ ನಮ್ಗೆ ಡೇ ಟು ಡೇ ಲೈಫ್ಗೆಲ್ಲ ರಿಲೇಟ್ ಆಗೋದ್ರಿಂದ ಡೆಫಿನೆಟ್ಲಿ ಇಟ್ ವಾಸ್ ವೆರಿ ವಂಡರ್ಫುಲ್ ಸೆಷನ್. ಆಮೇಲೆ ನೋಡ್ರಿ, ನೀವು 5 ಫ್ಯಾಕ್ಟರ್ಸ್ ತಗೊಂಡು ಹೇಳಿದ್ರಲ್ಲ, ಕಾಂಪ್ಲೆಕ್ಸನ್ಸಿ ಇಸ್ ಮೋಸ್ಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಅಸ್ ಐ ಥಿಂಕ್ ಒಂಥರ ಹೊಸ ವರ್ಡ್ ಇದು ನಮಗೆ. ಅದನ್ನು ನಾವು ಇದು ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ಆಮೇಲೆ ಡಿಸ್ಟ್ರಾಕ್ಷನ್ನು ಆಗಲಿ, ಪ್ರೆಷರ್ ಬಗ್ಗೆ, ಫೆಟಿಗ್ ಬಗ್ಗೆ, ಆಮೇಲೆ ಸ್ಟ್ರೆಸ್ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ನೀವು ಭಾಳ ಚಲೋ ಹೇಳಿಕೊಟ್ರಿ ಎಲ್ಲ ಇದನ್ನು. ಆಮೇಲೆ ನಮಗೀಗ ಒಂದು ಎಸ್ಕೇಪ್ ರೂಟ್ ಒಂದು ವರ್ಡ್ ನೀವು ಹೇಳಿಕೊಟ್ರಿ. ಏನಂತಂದ್ರೆ, ಭಾಳ ಸಲ ಏನಾಗ್ತದೆ ನಮ್ಮ ಸ್ಪಾಸ್ ನೋಡು ಏನಾಗ್ತದೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ, ಮೊಬೈಲ್ ಹುಡ್ಕೋಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಒಂದು ರಿಂಗ್ ಕೊಡ್ರಿ ಅಂತ ಬರ್ತಾರೆ. ನಾವು ಅದ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ, ಅವರು ಅದ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ನಾವೀಗೊಂದು ಇನ್ ಅಟೆನ್ಷನಲ್ ಬ್ಲೈಂಡ್ನೆಸ್ ಅಂತ ಹೊಸ ವರ್ಡ್ ಕೊಟ್ರೆ ನಮಗೆ ಅದನ್ನ ಹೇಳಿ ತಪ್ಪಿಸ್ಕೋಬೋದು ನಾವೀಗ.
ನಾನು ಬಡಿಸ್ತಾರ ಅವ್ರ ಕಡೆಯಿಂದ, ಬಟ್ ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ನಿಜ.
ಆಗ್ತಾರೆ. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಇವೆಲ್ಲ ಈಗ ನೀವು ಕೊಟ್ಟಿರೋ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ಗಳೆಲ್ಲ ನಮ್ಮ ಡೇ ಟು ಲೈಫಿಗೆ ಭಾಳ ರಿಲೇಟ್ ಆಗಿರೋದ್ರಿಂದ ಇಟ್ ವಾಸ್ ವೆರಿ ವಂಡರ್ಫುಲ್. ಆಮೇಲೆ ನೀವು ಭಾಳ ಚಲೋ ಹೇಳಿದೆ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟಿಂಗ್ನ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಮೆಂಟರ್ ಬಗ್ಗೆ, ಉದ್ಯೋಗಮುಖಿ, ಜ್ಞಾನಮುಖಿ ಮತ್ತು ಸಮಾಜಮುಖಿ ಅಂತೇಳಿ. ಡೆಫಿನೆಟ್ಲಿ ಈ ಮೂರೂ ಆದಷ್ಟು ನಾವು ನಮ್ಮ ಟ್ರಸ್ಟ್ ವತಿಯಿಂದ ಕೂಡ ನಾವು ಆದಷ್ಟು ಅದನ್ನು ನಾವು ಪ್ರಾಕ್ಟೀಸಿಗೆ ತರಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಪ್ರಯತ್ನ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀವಿ. ನಿಮ್ಮವರೆಲ್ಲರೂ ಹೆಲ್ಪ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಿದ್ದರಿಂದ ಇಟ್ ವಾಸ್ ವೆರಿ ಗುಡ್ ಸೆಷನ್. ಐ ಥಿಂಕ್ ನೀವು ಏನೋ ಒಂದು 5-10 minutes ಲೇಟ್ ಆದರೂ ಕೂಡ ಯು ಕವರ್ಡ್ ಇಟ್ ವೆಲ್, ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಪೀಪಲ್ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಡೆಫಿನೆಟ್ಲಿ participated and enjoyed it. Once again, from all of us, a big thank you to you, madam.
Thank you so much, sir, for giving this opportunity and interacting with you all. Thank you.
Thank you, madam. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, madam.
Let's join
Thank
next
you.
week with a
Yes.
wonderful
Yes.
another session.
Yeah. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank
ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಯು ಮೇಡಮ್.
Thank
ಇಟ್ ವಾಸ್
you.
ಗ್ರೇಟ್ ಸೆಷನ್ ಮೇಡಮ್. ಆಕ್ಚುಲಿ ನೀವು ಆರ್ಗನೈಸೇಷನ್ಸ್ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರು, ಈವನ್ ಬೀಯಿಂಗ್ ಅ ಹೋಮ್ ಮೇಕರ್ ಅಂಡ್ ನಾಟ್ ವೆರಿ ಫ್ಯಾಮಿಲಿಯರ್ ವಿತ್ ಆರ್ಗನೈಸೇಷನಲ್ ಸ್ಟ್ರಕ್ಚರ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಐ ಕುಡ್ ಈಸಿಲಿ ಅಂಡರ್ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡ್.
ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ರಿಲೇಟ್
ವೆರಿ
ಮಾಡಿದ್ದು ಅಶ್ವಿನಿ ಮ್ಯಾಮ್. ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ
ಹಾ
ಇಂಡಸ್ಟ್ರಿನಲ್ಲಿ ಬೇರೆ ಲೆವೆಲ್ ಟ್ರೈನಿಂಗ್ ಕೊಡ್ತೀವಿ, ಬಟ್
ಹಾ
ಇಲ್ಲೇನಾಗತ್ತೆ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಅದೇ ಸೇಮ್ ಎವ್ರಿಬಡಿ ಇಸ್ ಹ್ಯೂಮನ್ ಬೀಯಿಂಗ್ ಅಲ್ಲ, ಸೊ ಇಲ್ಲೇನೂ ಅಪ್ಲಿಕೇಬಲ್ ಆಗತ್ತೆ ಅಲ್ಲ. ಬಟ್ ದೆನ್ ವಿ ಆರ್ ಇಗ್ನೋರಿಂಗ್ ದಟ್, ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ ವಿ ಡೋಂಟ್ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಅವೇರ್ನೆಸ್ ಅಬೌಟ್ ಇಟ್. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ನಾನು ಇದು ಟಾಪಿಕ್ ಅವ್ರು ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದೆ. ಅಂಡ್ ಪ್ರಕಾಶ್ ವಾಸ್ ವೆರಿ ರೈಟ್, he gave me an opportunity to talk on this topic. I'm really very grateful to him to pick that topic. I was very happy.
Yes, madam.
ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಯು ಸೋ ಮಚ್ ಮ್ಯಾಮ್.
Yes. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Bye.
Good night.
Bye.